dynasties in college football, the oldest in the South. They've been playing since 1889. Wofford and Furman. It's a special SoCon Saturday in Greenville, South Carolina, a rivalry and so much more. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome inside Paladin Stadium along with Faxon Childress. I'm Bob Mahalik. The 13th-ranked Furman Paladins and the Wofford Terriers. Sure, it's a great rivalry, but Faxon, so much more on the line for the Paladins today.
The Furman Paladins playing for that ever-so-crucial potential share of the SoCon title and playoff positioning have a chance to get a home game here in Paladin Stadium with a win today.
Very important game for Furman. Two great quarterbacks, two experienced quarterbacks, two fifth-year seniors. Hey, Jimmy Wyrick's making history at Wofford the last couple of weeks.
And Jimmy Wyrick has been absolutely electric over the past 4 games for the Terriers. You see him right there throwing touchdowns, dropping dimes to these wide receivers for Wofford.
Wofford has won 3 out of 4. The Paladins have won 5 in a row. Tyler Huff, with his feet, with his legs, he is a big-time weapon.
You're talking about a guy that put over 300 throwing yards up against the Clemson Tigers and the FBS top 10 team. He can do it on the bright stages. He can beat anyone in the country, and he's going to air the ball out today for the Paladins.
In fact, the only conference game that the Paladins lost was one that Huff didn't play in. He was out with injury. For the Furman Paladins, Clay Hendrick in his 6th season, trying to make the postseason for the 3rd time. That's pretty much a lock. But will they get the home field advantage next week? Will they get a share of the title? They want to get the win today. And for Coach Clay Hendrick, what he's been very impressed with is that his team is playing his best ball right now. Same goes for Sean Watson. And what a job Watson and the Wofford staff have done. Remember, this is a Terrier team that had lost 12 in a row dating back to last year. In October, Josh Conklin resigns. He's out. Watson comes in as the interim head coach. Since then, they're 3-2. They've won 3 out of 4. Watson, with all that big-time experience he had being an offensive coordinator at the likes of Nebraska and Pittsburgh, really has galvanized this team, and Wofford saved their season. It's quite impressive what they've done in Spartanburg.
Yeah, the offense is absolutely clicking. I mean, they put up 34 points last week against VMI. You get a 48-41 win over ETSU and a 31-16 win over the Citadel. Those are the 3 wins for Wofford in the Watson era, and they're putting up points at a rate we haven't seen them put up points in years.
The Terriers will get the ball to start. The 96th version of Wofford and Furman. It's Spartanburg. It's Greenville. There's a SoCon title on the line, and we are so glad you are here. Big crowd at Paladin Stadium. And as usual, Ian Williams with the big leg bangs it out of the back of the end zone. He's the best at doing that in the Southern Conference. So we'll get a look at the new-look Wofford Terriers, if you will. If you are a fan of SoCon football and certainly a fan of the Terriers, you know throughout history they have been the running team. They have been the option team. They've been that feisty little dog that nips at your heels. But now they've really opened things up, and it's been Wyrick who's been able to do it to a variety of receivers.
Yeah, and Wyrick really throwing the ball well, as you said, Bob. I mean, you know, you have the record-breaking stats up that we had in the pregame. This team can still beat you on the ground. You've got 2 solid running backs in Walker and Parsons, but I think you got to set the tone early here in Paladin Stadium. Let Wyrick show off his arm and try and get in a groove offensively, pick up right where you left off against VMI.
Furman defense awfully impressive last week against Mercer. They've been great all year, forcing turnovers, getting to the quarterback, and making plays on defense. Wyrick will try and open it up early, goes deep down the middle, and it's complete. Did he have possession coming to the turf? It was knocked away at the last minute by Blackshear, but they're going to roll it complete. Landon Parker comes down with it, and there's Wofford on the road in a rivalry game going, hey, let's just have some fun and chuck it up on first down.
And this Wofford offense continues to click. What a grab there by Landon Parker. A little bit underthrown, admittedly, but he goes back, bails his quarterback out, and makes a great contested high-point catch. What a start for the Terriers here.
35th catch of the season for Parker. He leads all the Terriers. Wyrick play action. Throws the out pattern complete for another. Appears to be first down. Dylan Jete makes the reception. His 24th catch of the season, and Wofford on 2 plays is all the way down to the 25-yard line. Impressive start for the Terriers.
Yeah, and Wyrick is finding his 2 favorite weapons on the first 2 plays of the game. Parker on the first one, averaging over 66 yards a game. Jite on the second play, averaging over 33 yards per game. Looked very comfortable there, rolling left, delivers a dot to the left sidelines, picks up a good chunk play on first down for the Terriers.
You know, Wofford's playing with house money, and it shows. They have showed up here with, this is their season. Knocking off Furman would be their season. It's their playoff game. I know that sounds cliche, but it's what it is for them, and they've come out aggressive. That's their first run, and it picks up 1. Nathan Walker, who's been around for a long time for the Wofford Terriers, 50-year senior, at a Cross High School in South Carolina. And Walker is one of those Wofford seniors who celebrated their senior day last week in Spartanburg. He's seen a lot, right? When Walker showed up on campus, they're winning SoCon titles. They're going to the playoffs. He experienced the COVID lull. He experienced a 12-game losing streak. Now he's experiencing a revival at the end of the season for the Terriers. So a lot of seniors on both sides of the ball with their final Wofford-Furman game. 2nd down and 10. Wyrick again with a little play action, pumps over the middle, and another open receiver complete. Down to the 10-yard line, and once again is Landon Parker.
And I'll tell you, Bob, I'm really impressed with this Terrier offense early on. Utilizing their strengths, picking apart the zone coverage for Furman. All 3 of these plays early on, Wyrick's delivered a good ball, and Landon Parker and Jimmy Wyrick just continue to stay in the groove they've established over these past 4 or 5 weeks. The offense is clicking, and they're looking to take an early lead as the underdog here on the Furman Paladins.
Furman, throughout the season, has done a good job getting pressure on the quarterback, rushing just the 4. They don't have to rely on the blitz. So far, they really haven't been able to get to Wyrick, and when Wyrick has time and space, he certainly can be dangerous. Quick one this time, corner of the end zone. What a grab. Touchdown, Landon Parker.
And I'll tell you, Bob, that is an absolute heck of a ball right there from Jimmy Wyrick into the corner of the end zone on the back shoulder fade. What a grab by Parker to win his one-on-one matchup. 6-0 Terriers looking to make it 7-0 with the PAT.
Beautiful catch, his 3rd touchdown of the season. And when we say Wofford's playing their best ball of the season, we mean it. I mean, this team has been on fire, averaging 35 points per game over their last couple of games, last 4 games, and obviously impressive on the opening drive. This senior day crowd for the Furman Paladins a little stunned at the moment as the Terriers march right downfield, takes less than 3 minutes. And now Bridger Jones has been perfect in extra points this year. Remains that way as that one scoots through. And how do you like it? The 96 meeting between these 2 upstate rivals. Wofford on the road, absolutely an underdog, comes in here and jumps out to a 7-0 lead before you can even get halfway through your initial beverage.
And Bob, you know that this matchup is always going to provide fireworks. Sean Watson comes into Paladin Stadium very comfortable with his play script, clearly. He's taking shots down the field. He's targeting his best wide receiver in Landon Parker, and Jimmy Wyrick is throwing a great ball right now. Paladin's going to have to look to answer on their first offensive drive of the game.
Yeah, and that's not surprising for Wofford at all. As you talked about earlier, against the Citadel, they scored 31. Then 48 against East 10, 29 in a loss up in the mountains to Western Carolina, and 34 last week at VMI. So Wofford putting points on the board like this is no surprise. The surprise is the Furman defense has been as good as the Wofford offense has been, but on that drive it was all about tempo and really exploiting the middle of the field, marching down the field before they threw that flag route to cap off the drive.
I was just so impressed. It was just a level of comfort. Jimmy Wyrick provided a level of comfort that I don't think we've seen from an opposing quarterback against the Paladins this year. He looked like he wasn't phased. The Terriers were winning the battle up front and protecting him well, and it shows on the scoreboard as it's 7-0 Wofford.
Well, if they didn't get their attention, they certainly have it now. So the Furman Paladins get the ball for the first time, trailing 7-0. Returnable kick out to the 30, and no more. There's Wayne Anderson, the junior from Texas, bringing it out to the 30. A lot of emotion on the field today for the Paladins. A big handful of seniors were honored before the kickoff for senior day. And you wonder sometimes if that emotion, you don't want to peak too soon if you're the Furman Paladins, but this team is a senior-laden team. That's one of the reasons they're doing so well. A lot of linemen, a lot of key position players are seniors, if not fifth-year seniors. So they have to put the celebration behind them now and get ready for what appears to be a 4-quarter football game.
Yeah, this is going to be a rock fight, and when Wofford sets the tone with a 5-play, 75-yard drive in only 2.5 minutes, it's you're going to have to shake back here offensively, and Tyler Huff can help you do that, delivering a strike for 25 right there on the first play of the drive.
Kendall Dean has the reception out past the 45. So we talk about the quarterbacks at the top, both experienced in life, too. It helps to be 22, 23 years old, just for maturity level in life. All the football experience Huff had playing at Presbyterian, then coming here. And he's sitting on the sidelines watching Wyrick going up and down the field saying, hey, wait a minute, wait till I get my turn. Dean goes in motion. They'll throw it to him again. He's got one blocker to get, and he gets that block. picks up 11 yards. So the Paladins have come out moving the football as well, and we're 4 minutes into this game, and it's looking like a shootout at Paladin Stadium.
Yeah, and this is the level of comfort we expected to see from this Paladin offense. While Wofford has been picking up their point totals offensively, they've been in some shootouts themselves respectively. You mentioned the loss up in the mountains of Western Carolina. They gave up 36. The win against East Tennessee State at home, well, they gave up 41, gave up 28 in a loss to Sanford. They're giving up points and putting up points. This is where they're comfortable playing, is these high-paced shootout games.
Speed, that's what Anderson brings to the table, and he gets to the corner and turns it up. Inside the 15, down to the 10-yard line. Wayne Anderson on the end around.
And that's just a brilliant play call right there. You get the little jet sweep pass in motion. Huff's going to throw it forward, so it's going to count as a pass. Anderson is an absolute burner off the edge, and if he gets outside, you're not going to catch him. You see him turn it up the sideline right there. Big chunk play for the Paladins. This is exactly what they needed after surrendering 7 on the open drive to Wofford.
They're in the red zone, and we haven't said the word Dominique Roberto yet. Roberto's the running back. He's an all-SoCon performer, had 3 touchdowns last week against Mercer. Huff play actions to him and keeps it and runs up the gut and gets it down to the 2-yard line. So the little play fake, design run for Huff, who will run the football. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah, and that actually takes Huff over the 500 rushing yard mark on the season, averaging over 6 yards per carry, and has added 3 touchdowns with his legs. We saw Chase Wilson in a couple games earlier this year really rely on those legs. With Huff, he provides you more of a balance. He can beat you with his strong arm. He can beat you with his legs. You got to respect both.
2nd and goal. They go to a bit of a wildcat and throw for a touchdown. Miller grabs it. It's another touchdown for Ryan Miller, but it's Luke Shiflett that comes in from the wide receiver position to throw the pass. So Luke comes in, throws it to his fellow receiver, and Ryan Miller gets his 10th touchdown of the season. What a play call as Clay Hendricks and crew open up the playbook.
That's a fantastic play call. A great touch of creativity right there. And who else but Ryan Miller for the Paladins finding the end zone. PAT, if good, will tie this game up at 7, and he's going to knock it right through those uprights. Great response drive by the Paladins. Great play calling the entire way. Getting it to playmakers in space. Staying within yourself. Exactly what Furman needed right there.
So the 96 version of Wofford at Furman may turn out to be one of the best. Both teams march right downfield with big plays on the opening drives, and we're tied at 7 at Paladin Stadium.
And Bob, and if they keep this pace, this is going to be an absolutely electric game. I mean, it already is. Paladin Stadium's rocking. The weather is great outside, and points are being put up on the board. We got 14 points in our first 5 minutes.
Luke Shiflett's throwing touchdown passes.
Yeah,
touchdown pass, I should say. So, all right. Well, we're off to a great start at Paladin Stadium. We'll see if we can follow this up with some more football. Wofford and Furman tied at 7 early on in the first.
On an urgent Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Hurry! It's almost kickoff. I am. Oh, they logged me out! What's the password?
Okay, it's P23XR ampersand.
Dude, the caps lock is on! Ah! How much time we got?
I missed basic cable. Here we go.
What was there? What was there? Oh no, I got the spinning wheel!
Fanstown by Dr. Pepper.
This commercial. Game hasn't started. They play these too much.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Now that's the shakaroni.
Dang, that's huge.
Oh, that's my piece of the shakaroni. That's the biggest one we make. Extra pepperoni, extra cheese on that thing. Somebody save me a slice? No.
They'll donate $1 from every shakaroni to the Papa John's Foundation.
Shakaroni. Oh, bring it in, bring it in. Shakaroni. Shakaroni. Get on beat, get on beat. Shakaroni. Shakaroni. Shake that wig on, come on. Shakaroni. You guys were so offbeat. Okay, all right, let's eat.
At the Home Depot, we have the tools to make holiday magic, especially when it comes to getting the perfect gift. For all those project-doing, technology-loving, holiday hosting, tool organizing, woodshop working people in your life. And gifts for everyone else in between. Get Black Friday savings all through November at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
SoCon football at Paladin Stadium, brought to you by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings. BMW and Bon Secours. Beautiful afternoon. It's about 45 degrees, but nothing but sunshine. One of the great settings for college football. The oldest rivalry in the South, Wofford and Furman. A SoCon championship potentially on the line for the Paladins. And in the first two possessions, we saw nothing but big plays and excitement. We are set for a great high noon shootout here at Paladin Stadium.
Yeah, it was absolutely electric. I don't know any other word to describe it. You got 14 points in the first 5 minutes. Both offenses moving the ball effortlessly down the field, airing it out, and then, we see a little bit of a wildcat formation from the Paladins, getting creative in the end zone. Ryan Miller ends up catching the touchdown to tie it up at 7. If you're the Furman defense, you got to come out and set the tone here defensively. Your offense gets you back those 7 points. It's a scripted drive for Wofford, so you expect them to move the ball a little bit. This is where the real game starts. The play scripts are thrown out. Teams are going to have to adjust to what they're seeing in game. The Paladin defense needs to step up here, get a stop, and not allow this to become 14-7 and give back those points your offense just got.
As usual, Ian Williams boots it out of the end zone. You know what I think we saw in the first round? It's like a great title fight where the coaches came out throwing their haymakers. All right, Sean Watson's on the road as the underdog. I'm going deep down the middle first play. All right, Paladins are wobbled a little bit, but here comes Cale Hendricks back. He's going to throw a jab by bringing in the Wildcat inside the 10-yard line. So both coaches having fun.
Yeah.
Loosening the team up, going, hey, this is football. It's what it's all about. It's why we've come to school. It's why we want to play these games. We want to play meaningful games in November. And Wofford has turned this into a meaningful game because it's a rivalry game, and they want to continue to finish strong. Wyrick will roll out on first down. And he'll pick up 1 yard as he runs out of bounds. Driven out of bounds by a man who's been all over the field for 10 games this year, Bryce McCormick, inside linebacker for the Paladins. The Paladins linebackers, Gilby and McCormick, do a great job. And they'll have their hands full, as we've seen today, managing this offense for the Terriers, as we mentioned, averaging close to 30 points per game in the last 4 games. Nathan Walker, he's very reliable at running back, but you also see a little bit of Cal Parsons, who is a freshman who's gotten some quality touches here for the Wofford Terriers down the stretch. So it's second down. They'll give him 2 yards on first down, so it's second down and 8. Flag flies. There was movement along the line. The pass is complete to the 30-yard line, minimal gain, but we will wait and see what the call will be.
And it won't count, but Hugh Ryan was on the tackle there, and most picks on this Paladin team belong to Hugh Ryan with 4. And for the Paladins, turnovers have been big all year. Your defense has been able to generate turnovers at almost a better rate than anyone in the SoCon. You see Ryan there, Travis Blackshear. You mentioned Gilby and McCormick as your linebacker duo on the inside. This defense is loaded with talent. They've got one of the best units, if not the best unit in the entire SoCon, and they've got to hunker down today and get a win in a really big game for this Furman team.
They force turnovers, and it's just not luck. Sometimes turnovers are, you're fortunate to get a turnover. This team works on it. They spend every Tuesday trying to learn how to force turnovers, stuff just like that. You get your hand up, you make a play, and the Paladins get it done right there. That's the band, as they like to call him here. Mayer gets his hand up, and, instantly Wofford got behind the chains, and all of a sudden, different field of the game, right?
Yeah, and, that's kind of, you're in a point now where you may have to make a little bit of a desperation play call. You're going to have to show your cards a little bit early. You don't want to go 3 and out on the ensuing drive and punt the ball right back to Tyler Huff and that Paladin offense who's moved the ball really effectively. So if you're Sean Watson, you got to go deep into the bag of tricks here. You got to pull out your best play call.
Paladins rush 4. Wyrick in the pocket, over the middle, and caught. A big hit, but it doesn't dissuade the reception. The tight end, Jordan Davis, hauls it in.
Wow. I mean, multiple things to address here, Bob. Number one, what a ball from Jimmy Wyrick to be able to stay in the pocket, deliver that strike back shoulder, and then what an adjustment from Davis, who originally is looking for it to come over his left shoulder, has to adjust, turn to his right shoulder, makes the grab, gets hit, and still holds on to it. Couldn't have called a better play at the time for Wofford. Sean Watson right there. A much-needed first down, and they're looking to put up more points on the board.
Between the hash marks.
Yeah.
Early on, Wofford's big plays have come between the hash marks. So back into Furman territory, and again a four-man rush for Wyrick. Clean pocket between the hash marks, goes deep down the middle, and again it is caught down to the 1-yard line. What a grab.
Wow.
Jete reaches up and makes the grab down at the 1.
And I'll tell you, Bob, it's this cover 2 shell. This Tampa 2 shell that Furman is running defensively. You got the 2 high safeties, but it leaves the middle of the field open in between the hash marks, and Wofford is attacking that middle of the field right now. Furman's going to have to adjust defensively, or Jimmy Wyrick, Sean Watson, and co. are going to continue to make this this defense pay over the middle.
A minute ago it was 3rd and 12 inside their 20. Now they've got the ball at the 1. Nathan Walker is the lone setback for the Terriers. The give is to Walker. Powers forward, in for the touchdown. 7th of the season for Nathan Walker. And the Wofford offense is 2 for 2 as they get their 2nd touchdown of the first quarter.
Yeah, and what a drive by the Wofford offense. Obviously, you know, you get the false start to set you back. You have the pass batted down. You're staring down the barrel of 3rd and 12. You deliver a strike over the middle. You come back expecting that Tampa 2 shell again. You throw right back over the middle, and Nathan Walker is able to punch it in for you. This Wofford offense fears nobody, and it couldn't be more evident by the play calling here early on.
And again, if you're not familiar with the Terriers, you have to understand where this team was in October. And I know they had a very difficult schedule to start the season, but they're coming off a winless year. And then they lose a couple to start the season. And you watch them now, they look like every bit the playoff team that Furman and Mercer and Chattanooga are.
Yeah, I mean, and this Wofford offense if one of the best, if not the best defenses in the entire conference. 10 plays, you've driven 75 yards both times, so 10 plays for 150 yards. You've only had the ball for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 2 drives, 10 plays. You've gone the entire distance both times and scored 2 touchdowns. They're not scared of the Paladins. They're going to take their shots. They trust their personnel.
And Furman was ready for this, okay? Furman was absolutely ready for this. And one thing we were worried about with Wofford was, will they have the emotion after coming off of their senior week, last week at home? Will they bring emotion in this game? And will they be able to avoid the mistakes that you have to avoid on the road? And so far, they've handled emotion, and they have been perfect.
Yeah, they've played the perfect game. And obviously, Wofford, massive underdogs coming in, even though their form has picked up lately. You can't make mistakes and lose the turnover battle against the Paladins if you're going to beat them. So they have been perfect so far. Their offense could not have looked better if they tried. I doubt that Sean Watson has any complaints outside of that 1 false start penalty with his offensive unit thus far.
Wayne Anderson returns it out to the 32-yard line, and to avoid a scuffle, they quickly scoot off the field. So, you know, it looks like it's going to be a shootout. Every possession matters. But if you're Furman, what you can't do is you're not changing your game plan, right? You had a plan coming in, and you can't just all of a sudden say, we're going to start airing it out as well. Whatever they thought was going to work, they have to stick to in this situation. It's only 14-7. It's very, very early.
Yeah, and you have to stick true to yourself. You have to stay true to your principles as a team. You've had a really, really successful couple of games running the ball with Roberto. You don't want to abandon the run game early and chase points just because you're down 7.
After the play was over, personal foul and the roughness. 8, the kicking team. 15 yards and first down Furman.
So we just talked about perfection if you're Wofford on the road. What you don't want to do is stuff like that. You know, 18 comes running over. I get it. It wasn't egregious, but the whistle's blown, and when the whistle blows, you don't put your hands on an opposing team's player.
Yeah, you can't gift a team like Furman free field positioning. You look at the Paladins, and they're 1 play away from being in your territory to start the drive. Your offense just had such a good drive to put you up 7 points, and Paladins look poised to try and grab that 7 right back and tie the ball game back up at 14.
Dominic Roberto picks up 8 on first down, and that's what I was alluding to earlier, was about getting away from your game plan. Roberto has to get his touches, and you do have to control the clock a little bit.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who has over 870 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns. He's getting over 6 yards a carry and averaging almost 90 yards a game. He is a staple for this football team. This team has to run the ball to be successful, whether that's Huff, whether that's Roberto, whether that's throwing in a change of pace back with Devin Abrams, who is more than capable. This team's identity is to be balanced with their attack, and they can't get too one-sided.
And they do another end around. This time it heads in the opposite direction with Joshua Harris. And the freshman picks up the first down for the Paladins. Picked up 7 on the run. There is a flag down near the point of contact at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and it looks like the Paladins offensive unit is marching backwards, expecting this one to be on them.
Holding. Second down.
So it'll be marked back from the spot of the foul. Remains second down. It'll be about a 2nd and 11. See if we can pick up the hold.
Yeah, it looked like 63 right there for the Paladins. Maybe a little bit of a clothesline type play, and when you're right in front of the referee, you're not going to get away with that one.
Well, they'll mark it at the 49, so it'll be a 2nd down and 7. Quick strike to Wayne Anderson, who's been very active in this ball game. And the sprinter from Texas almost took that one the distance. He's brought down to the 27-yard line. So whatever scripted game plan was, apparently it was get number 9 the ball, and he'll make good things happen.
Man, I'll tell you, Bob, is there as fun of a player as Wayne Anderson to watch in the conference, maybe even the country? This guy literally has track runner speed. You see him right there on the flanker screen. You get him into the middle of the field with some blockers ahead of him, and it's a touchdown, if not for a shoestring tackle from the Terriers.
Huff and the Paladins moving again, nearing the red zone. Quick strike to the 23-yard line. To Joshua Harris. Picks up 5. You know, it's a very senior-laden team, but Josh Harris, the freshman, or he's a sophomore now, but he was all freshman last year. You know, he's the young guy. You know, he's got experience. He's coming off an all-freshman season, but he's the young guy in this unit here, and it's really been a productive unit, as you've seen already throughout this game. Miller gets a touch. Dean gets a touch. Shiflett's throwing the ball. Anderson's touched it several times. They spread it out. Makes it difficult on the defense. 2nd down and 5. Dominic Roberto off right tackle. 1st down inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line.
Yeah, and, you know, this is your identity. Like I said, you have to stick with Roberto in the run game. But headed back to Harris, Bob, you know, he might be the sophomore, the youngin' of the group. He's actually averaging the most yards per catch with 13.8 coming into this game. So he's kind of your big hitter. You've got Wayne Anderson to throw into the mix on those jet sweeps, the gadget-type plays. You're going to throw him screens. But when you're talking about vertical threats down the field, Joshua Harris is the go-to guy for this Paladin squad.
17 is Kendall Thomas. He takes the field for the first time for the Paladins in the backfield alongside Huff and Roberto. Huff wants to throw it to him. Not available, goes through his progression, and then throws it complete. Did he keep his feet in right at the sticks? He sure did. Kendall Thomas was the original target. It wasn't there immediately, but he kept going on the route, found his way open, and keeps his feet in. What a terrific catch. And I talk about spreading it out. All of a sudden, he comes in the game, and Kendall's making catches.
Yeah, and that's just, you know, veteran poise from Tyler Huff. You know, initial read isn't there. He goes through his progression. He makes a man miss. He rolls out to his right, finds Harris at the last second, able to make the sideline catch.
Roberto is the lone setback. Play comes in from the sideline. Remember, it's not a 2nd and goal. It's a 2nd and 1. Roberto up the middle. Should have the 1st down. And it'll set up a 1st and goal from the 3.5-yard line.
Yeah, you saw some unique plays on the goal line from the Paladins with a little bit of a read option from Huff, and then obviously the Wildcat touchdown on the first drive. I don't know if you need a ton of creativity this time. I think the game plan is pretty clear and simple. Rely on your run game. You've got, you know, 4 chances to get it in from the 4-yard line right here. Hand the ball off to Roberto or run a read option and roll Huff out.
Well, Roberto goes like 230.
Yeah.
I give it to him. There he is. Dominic Roberto up the middle into the end zone. Touchdown, Paladins.
And, you know, we're talking about it right here, Bob. It is so hard to tackle Dominic Roberto, especially in those goal-to-goal situations. You trusting your RB1, give him the little inside read, pounds it into the end zone. Paladins are going to tie it up with a made PAT.
Great surge up the middle from that experienced and talented front line of the Furman Paladins. Tomlin, Johanning, Jumper, Hughes, Toomey, all getting it done. Axel LePro with the extra point. It is good. It's a shootout at Paladin Stadium, the oldest rivalry in the South, but it's a new age kind of game, tied at 14.
Yeah, points on the board at a frequent rate. Neither offense can be stopped so far, Bob, and, you know, big drive ensuing for the Paladin defense.
14-14, and we've only just begun here at Paladin Stadium. We'll be right back.
kidding me? Is that for me?
How?
Oh, can't wait to see what you got your mother.
The BMW Road Home Sales Event, on now. Through November 30th, your purchase of a new BMW will help provide 200 meals to local families in need.
Jewelry has always been the most powerful gift of love, whether it's an engagement or an anniversary. Here at Hales, we're in the business of celebrating your life's most special moments, from the past, the present, and the future. Being Greenville's oldest business means we understand that we're only as good as how you feel when you leave the store. We welcome you to visit our flagship jewelry store.
Happily ever, Hales.
This is Mountain Dew. A rush of crisp and refreshing flavor. Delivering a bold citrus kick. Do the Dew.
Nachos, better with Pepsi.
Football, and then shoot.
Welcome back, Paladin Stadium. We're up to 51 degrees on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. The sun is shining, the crowd is out. This is the final regular season game at Paladin Stadium, but if Furman wins today, I think we could rest assured that they will be hosting a playoff game here in Furman.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty, the path seems pretty clear here for the Furman Paladins, and just makes this a game that, obviously, you know, we've spoken about it. This is a historic rivalry, especially in the South. You know, both of these teams want this one bad coming into it regardless, but you add the element of, you know, Wofford trying to play spoiler, Furman playing for a potential share of the SoCon title, playoff positioning, home field advantage. There is so much on the line in this game.
Furman with only one SoCon loss, and that loss was to Samford. Samford's undefeated at 7-0. Samford will kick off in about an hour or so as they play their ball game today against Mercer. So if Mercer knocks off Samford and Furman wins today, they're co-champs. You are co-SoCon champs, but Samford would get the automatic bid. But, of course, the Paladins would still head to the postseason. A loss today for Furman, and it's a little nervous 24 hours, or about 12 hours, as you wait for the announcement tomorrow at noon to see if you are indeed in. A loss may certainly impact if the Paladins get to host. In order to win, got to stop Wofford. They've scored on both of their possessions, and they've been exploiting the middle of the field. They'll run it on first down. The freshman Cal Parsons. And Parsons had a terrific season. He's really come on, too. He's got 476 yards, averaging around 5 yards a pop up the middle. He's pretty good coming out of the backfield. Had a 100-yard game against VMI, and he appears to be the heir apparent to Nathan Walker, who certainly has been the bell cow carrier for the Terriers over the last couple of seasons. And Parsons appears to be the heir apparent for the next couple of years. So the Paladins trying to stop Wofford for the first time in this football game, and it's a 2nd down and 7. Again, a 4-man rush. Wyrick steps up, throws it away.
Yeah, and that's something you're not going to see a lot out of Jimmy Wyrick. You know, that's not his strength. Throwing on the run, mobility, you know, just the run game in general is not where he's going to hit you. If the Terriers are going to continue to have success offensively, they're going to have to stop this Furman 4-man rush. And they did a really good job of it on the first 2 drives, but now you're seeing the Paladin rush able to get home a little bit. If you can make Wyrick move, it's going to make your secondary's job a lot easier. You can't let him have a clean pocket because he'll kill you, as you saw on the first 2 drives.
Wofford's been perfect on 3rd down, 2 for 2. Trips to the bottom of the screen. Can't believe I'm saying that about a Wofford Terriers offense, but trips to the bottom of the screen. And Wyrick throws it deep down the middle. It's worked every time, but this time Callie Chiswick is in there to make the defensive play and knock it away at the last moment.
And, you know, a perfectly timed blitz from this Paladin defense. They send the dogs at Jimmy Wyrick. He throws up a jump ball, and his receiver's not able to make a play. Great coverage and a much-needed stop for this Paladin defensive unit. Some great play calling and adjusting there from this Paladin defense.
The two previous balls that looked just like that were 50-50 balls down the middle. That time, the Paladin's Chiswick won the battle. First punt of the football game.
Yeah, and Wofford is actually bottom of the SoCon in net yardage on punts, so potentially an advantage here for the Paladins as they almost get home and block that one. Someone may have gotten a hand on it.
Well, it was a high snap, and that certainly delayed things. Dean got in there, the wide receiver got in there, and it looked like he did get a piece of that. Either way, the high snap certainly threw that play off.
Yeah, and a big advantage for the Paladins there.
Tied at 14 at Paladin Stadium. Furman will have the football when we come back.
Luxury exemplified. Innovation electrified. With Apple Music seamlessly integrated. The all-new, all-electric EQS SUV from Mercedes-Benz.
A great story has magic, power, and every once in a while, it has miracles. As luck would have it, that's our story.
Change is coming.
It's a beautiful time for basketball. Lakers Bucks in a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday on ESPN.
Back at Paladin Stadium, where back on October 1st, Furman played Sanford. Paladins had a 10-0 lead in the first quarter. Looked like they had a turnover. We're going in to make it 17-0. Wasn't to be. We're not going to dwell on it. Sanford won the football game. And right now, that October 1st game between Sanford and Furman is the difference in this conference. Sanford's still undefeated. They play a little bit later this afternoon. Only SoCon lost for the Furman Paladins was against the Bulldogs. Furman on first down. Picks up a first down. And many, many more yards. Down to the 3-yard line. Joshua Harris, you had mentioned he's the big play guy. He puts up the big numbers, and the sophomore with a 50-yard reception.
And he is the big hitter for the Paladins. Most yards per catch on this team for a reason. Brilliant play call with this little slide action. You get your playmaker in space, and you got to give some credit to the blockers. Harris makes them pay all the way up down the sidelines into the red zone, and you got to think, Bob, this is Dominique Roberto territory to punch one in for Furman.
A great play call to literally hide Harris behind the line and then let him get his sprinter speed out there all the way down. They're going to mark him down at the 3-yard line. So inside the red zone again are the Paladins, knocking on the door for their third touchdown of the first quarter. They need to restart the play clock. It was all the way down to 1. It took a while for the change to make a decision. There appeared to be some confusion. Clay Hendrick calls a timeout, but he thinks that the play clock started way too early. Either way, the Paladins don't want to make a mistake down here at the 3-yard line. Even if they have to burn the timeout, it's a timeout well spent. I don't think you waste timeouts in the first half. It's the second half where you worry about blowing a timeout. If this is at a timeout to keep the Paladins from losing 5 yards or running a hectic play, that's fine. Take your timeout, reset, and go, okay, now we've got 4 cracks from the 3-yard line, and you got to like your chances at this point.
Yeah, and I've just been so impressed with Furman's play calling early on. They do such a good job of accentuating Tyler Huff's skill set. He's 8 for 8 in this game thus far with 153 yards. He's so comfortable within the offense, Bob. You could just tell this is his home. And, they're wanting to make a deep run in the postseason. Got to get it done here today first.
Thomas gets the handoff from takes it to the 1, down to the goal line, and stopped just shy of the touchdown. Kendall Thomas gets it to the 6-inch line. On first down, they probably won't replay it, but it was awfully close.
I like the creativity there. You go split back set, you bring in your one of your burners, hand it off to Thomas. He gets inside the goal line, and you got to think this is either Roberto or Huff. You're just going to try and pound one into the end zone from inside the goal line.
Well, Thomas has been a focal point in the first quarter, something we haven't seen throughout the year. Power formation on 2nd and goal. Dominic Roberto takes it in. It's another Paladin touchdown. 3 Furman touchdowns in the first quarter.
An absolute shootout on our hands at Paladin Stadium, and this Furman offense is humming. This is the best we've seen them all season. 21 first quarter points, as you mentioned, Bob. Dominic Roberto is into the end zone with his 2nd touchdown of the game, and he reaches double digits for the season.
And that's a perfect scenario for Furman, right? Use your speed, use Harris, use your quarterback, get down inside the 10, give it to your 230-pound all-SoCon running back to finish it off. LePro's extra point is good, and the Furman Paladins have opened up a 7-point lead over the Wofford Terriers. It's 21-14 here at Paladin Stadium.
Bob, if you would have told me before the game we're getting 35 first quarter points, I would have taken it in a heartbeat. Absolute electric factory here in Paladin Stadium. So much offense, so many points, and elite quarterback play on both sides.
And you know what's impressive from Coach Clay Hendricks' team? There was absolutely no panic and no deviation from the game plan when Wofford came out there and stunned them by scoring 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and credit to Coach Hendricks and his staff. We talked about you have to stay balanced. Your identity is running the football, getting the ball to your playmakers in space, and right there you take a 3-play, 51-yard drive with only taking 119 off the clock. It's not even just the points that are being put on the board, it's the frequency at which it's happening. These offenses are getting chunk play after chunk play, humming the ball down the field respectively.
Well, Coach Hendrick has said it's a big advantage to play at home in the playoffs. And he wants this because, Clay is from Furman. He played at championship teams at Furman. He says, I want a home playoff game for my school. I want it for the alum. I want it for this team. I want it for the program. The way they get a home playoff game is to win this game against Wofford. But the Terriers have certainly given them all they can handle and more. So the return by Parsons, the freshman, brings it out just past the 26-yard line. So Wofford was stopped on their last possession. And remember, we talked about all facets of the game. A special teams play, a high snap by Wofford. Dean got in there, maybe got a piece of the ball, gave Furman the ball at the 50-yard line. Yeah. So it's everybody contributing. The defense making the stop, the special teams making a play, and the offense finishing it off.
And you got to win on every level, and that's what the Paladins are doing right now. You send pressure on Wyrick, you get the crucial stop, you win the special teams battle, as you said, Bob, with the punt, and then you punch it in on offense. All 3 facets clicking for the Paladins.
Now it's up to the Terriers to see if they can get up off the mat and deliver another blow. Parsons will get the carry, and he gets swapped down.
Wow.
Big fella, Coleman in there. Cameron Coleman lowers the boom on senior day. Coleman was honored before the game. And he gets the tackle for loss that he may remember for a while.
Yeah, what a hit. I don't know how you bounce back from that one. Coleman pile driving the running back into the ground right there. Big hit, and Coleman gives kind of a hammer at the bench for the Paladins. That got them fired up, and it got the crowd fired up as well.
And Parsons was the nail on that play, and Coleman truly was the hammer. 2nd down and 11. Paladins blitz. Throw short, and another big hit. This one, Travis Blackshear. And Parsons is taking a pounding on these 2 plays.
And this Paladin defense unit is fired up. You see it from Coleman and you see it from Blackshear. Back-to-back big hits, laying that hit stick on the Terriers. And Furman's now got Wofford in 3rd and long with a chance to get a big stop.
Both good, clean football plays for the Paladins.
And it'll be interesting here to see if Furman comes out in that cover 2 shell. You've gotten beat a couple times over the middle. I would suggest cover 4, maybe cover 3, switch up your coverages.
3rd and 9. Wyrick, corner blitz, gets hit, ball comes free. Ball is loose. Paladins have it.
And what a big play for the Furman Paladins right there. I said you may want to adjust your coverage. When your defensive line screaming in like that on the quarterback, it doesn't really matter. Furman drops back in a cover 3 shell. They prevent the middle of the field from being hit quick. They send 6, and they get home, recover the fumble. Big turnover for the Paladins, who have a chance to go up 2 scores.
I believe it was Yates with the hit. Meyer recovered it. Alec Meyer, who's been very present today, made a big play earlier on in the game where he put pressure on the quarterback, got the hands up and got a tip. He pounces on the loose fumble, and again, the turnover battle. Furman's so good at it all year, they get another.
And it's not luck, Bob. It's big-time players making big-time plays in big-time games, and that is exactly what the Paladins just did. You need a turnover, you get a turnover, prime field position, and poised to press for 7 more points.
Coach Vaughn, defensive coordinator, great play call on the corner blitz. Inside slant, complete. And a pickup of 5 is Kendall Dean. The grad transfer out of James Madison gets his 37th catch of the season. And that will wrap up an exciting, terrific first quarter. The oldest rivalry in the South and maybe the most exciting first quarter in 3 centuries. It's 21-14 Furman over Wofford. Paladins driving again. We'll be right back with the second quarter after this.
Say cheese.
I was feeling cute. I might delete these later.
Don't delete them. I look good. Cop yourself out.
But my hair does look amazing. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Change is coming.
Only a handful of teams remained, all vying for a spot in the playoff, for the right to call themselves the national champions.
Lakers Bucks in a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday. It's a beautiful time for basketball. I go through the pain like Giannis. Where freaks challenge kings. You know I'm dunking on his balls like LeBron. We in the rack with the Rose and dynasties old and new collide. Steph Curry, I'm a warrior, shots Lakers Bucks in a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday on ESPN.
NBA on ESPN time.
Everyone is ready for Monday Night Football.
Now you waited your whole life for this.
Because this NFC South matchup brings the heat.
They don't like us, we don't like them.
Can Kamara and the Saints or Brady and the Bucs march out to the victory?
A lot of football. A lot of football, boys.
The Saints meet the Buccaneers.
True story. If you want to stand out, you have to cross enemy lines. Ohio State, Duke, North Carolina, Indiana. Experience the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Begins Wednesday at 7:15 on ESPN.
It's a beautiful time for basketball, where freaks challenge kings and dynasties old and new collide. Lakers Bucks in a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday on ESPN.
Back live at Paladin Stadium for the 96th meeting between Wofford and Furman. Furman leads that all-time series, 55-33-7. You know, they're I think it was a 2-1 game somehow. They kept score differently back in 1889. This one's a little different. 21-14, Furman leads Wofford. Paladin's driving again. We had more than 350 yards of combined offense in the first quarter. We'll try and do better here in the second. Miller in motion. Miller gets it. See purple in front of him. Miller cuts it back inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. So we've had a wide receiver throw a ball. We've had 3 end-arounds. A tight end gets an end-around. Paladins are opening up the playbook here on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and it's smart field management right there. You get caught in second and medium. You make third down manageable by getting a 4-yard gain. You get a play. You know you're going to get some leverage on. Miller does a good job putting his head down. And now you're in third and short. You could consider going for this even if you don't get it.
Roberto is the lone running back. Dominic Roberto gets the call. Goes off left side, uses all that power and strength to get the first down, gets it down to the 10-yard line, setting up a first and goal for the Paladins.
And that's the luxury of making third down manageable, Bob. You can run the ball. You got a superstar running back in Dominic Roberto who's already got 2 touchdowns on the day. He's in a groove when you have been running. You don't have to throw because it's not 3rd and 7. That's all set up by your second down play call. Just a great job of managing this game thus far by Clay Hendricks and his staff. The offense is absolutely clicking.
7 different Furman players have touched the ball on offense.
Yeah, it's spreading the wealth.
Huff touches it every play. It's first and goal from the 10-yard line. Huff keeps, throws to a wide open receiver. Touchdown, Miller.
Wow, they are really opening the playbook. A little Tebow-esque jump pass right there from Tyler Huff. You delay the mesh RPO read, kind of like Wake Forest does with Sam Hartman, and you pop one over the top to your superstar tight end, Ryan Miller. Touchdown, Dens.
Miller made the block, sold it, and then released to the corner where he was wide open to catch his 11th touchdown of the season. The all-SoCon tight end continues to shine in the final regular season home game. And if he keeps playing like that and they keep making plays like that, they'll be here next week in the postseason as well.
And Tyler Huff finally on the board with the touchdown. He has quite literally been perfect today, going 11 for 11 for 170 yards and a touchdown. He's running this offense to perfection.
Wofford led this game 7-0. They scored 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the football game, and the Paladins have answered with 4 touchdowns.
It has been an onslaught from this Furman offense onto the Terrier defense. And if you're the Wofford defense, you've got to find a way to adjust and get some stops. You figure your offense will be able to get back into a groove at some point and put up some more points, but we're getting to the territory in this game, which is how many points can our offense put up? Are we even mathematically able to catch up? You've given up 4 touchdowns and 4 drives, a terrible way to start the football game for their defensive unit. We will see if the offensive unit can pick them up and try and get them points right back here.
Well, it's one of those games now where the Terriers know they can't waste any at bats. They're already down 14, and Furman gets the ball to start the second half.
That's exactly what the problem is. You don't know how much you're going to have the ball for the rest of this game. Now, one thing I will say is advantageous for the Terriers and their potential comeback in this game is the ball's moving so quick on both sides. The time of possession is, on these drives is 3 minutes here, 2 minutes here. There are chunk plays transpiring in the game. So, if you're Jimmy Wyrick in this Terrier offense, you're going to have to hit one of those chunk plays and give your defense a chance to get a stop if you can put points on the board there.
Returnable kick, big hit on special teams, stop before he gets to the 20-yard line.
Furman just has so much energy right now. We saw it from their defensive unit, on the last drive. This feels like a motivated team. They understand the importance of this matchup. The crowd is rocking. There's energy in the stadium. The band is going crazy. Everything clicking right now for the Paladins. Can Jimmy Wyrick and the Terriers thwart the momentum that Furman has?
All the emotion that comes with this rivalry game, with the championship being on the line, the pressure that comes with that, Furman's handled it magically.
Yeah.
So now the pressure's on Wyrick and his offense to get rolling again. They've put up 14 points on the road against the 13th team in the country. That's usually pretty good, but it's going to take a whole lot more to get a victory today. They'll go to the senior Nathan Walker to pick up a couple on first down. And look, it doesn't matter what kind of offense you have. When you get positive yardage like that on first down, it really helps you.
Yeah, and, if we would have asked Sean Watson prior to the game, hey, you're going to score 14 points in the first quarter with no additional context, I think he would have taken that, no questions asked. I mean, this offense is doing a good job of winning first and second down. The 2 drives that we've seen them thwarted is where they don't win those first 2 downs. A false start penalty thwarted them on one. You were brought back from a sack on another, a batted pass. They got to get into a groove here, and this is a great play call to get a playmaker out in the flat.
And get the first down.
Yeah.
So Jordan Davis with his second reception. And that'll move the sticks, and that's a field position kind of play. Now Wofford not only still obviously keeps the football, but they don't have to punt from inside their 10.
Yeah, you get some breathing room right there. And we saw Davis have the big catch over the middle, kind of gashing the seam and turning onto his right shoulder, making the incredible catch earlier in this one right there. Kind of shows his versatile skill set and what he brings to this offense. You slip him out and kind of hide him. He pops out into the flat, picks up a first down. This Wofford offense needs to get comfortable again and get some points back.
Down the left sideline, a lot of contact, 4 versus 4, and it's going to fall incomplete and no whistle. That was good coverage. The ball hung up there for a while. That's a long pass from the right hash mark to the left sideline. So Morris with the coverage and Dejete denied.
Yeah, I actually think Wyrick threw a pretty solid ball here. There's mutual hand fighting. I like the no call there, Bob. There's contact, but at the end of the day, they say that defensive back is the hardest position to play in football nowadays because it feels like everything's stacked against you. I like the no call there from the officials, letting them hand fight, letting them play. It was a fair fight, and that one was won by the Paladins defensive back.
And Morris taking advantage of some playing time as well. And that's how you get more playing time, by denying a 35-yard pass.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, was it potentially scripted that you saw Morris out there, you clear out on one side, and you take a one-on-one shot?
So some personnel issues for Wofford. They will call a timeout. 6 touchdowns, and we still have 12-16 to go here in the second quarter. For the Wofford Terriers, it has been a very emotional season and one they hope to cap off with a big win against Furman today. Got out to that lead, and now we'll see how they respond. The underdogs on the road, down by 14. Can Wofford mount a comeback? We'll find out when we come back.
This holiday season, Ford wants to help you shine bright. So, this Black Friday, choose a vehicle in stock or simply place a custom order. Lock in your rate and you're protected, even if rates go up before your order comes in. Plus, thousands of vehicles are arriving daily, just in time for the holidays. This Black Friday, lock in this low rate on a new 2022 Ford F-150. Hurry, choose from over 7,000 Ford trucks and SUVs, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
When you buy Diamond from Hales, you're getting us. We know what it means to see a smile, to see that reaction when you get that engagement ring. And we take great pride in that stone being absolutely the most beautiful diamond it possibly could be. It's about the smile that it creates when someone opens that box. We've put our life and our soul in picking that diamond, especially for you.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com to make an appointment.
The Furman Paladins ranked 13th in the nation, finishing up at home in the regular season for the first time in 6 years. Been a little bit of a schedule anomaly. They haven't finished up at home, but they're finishing it up at home. But I don't think they're finished. I think they're going to play another one here, especially if they hang on to this lead and beat the Wofford Terriers. Right now, Furman has a 28-14 lead. Wofford picked up a first down to get out of the shadows of their own goalposts, and now they have a second down and 10 from their 29-yard line. Jimmy Wyrick had a strong first quarter, found success down the middle of the field. The Paladins now have taken that away from him, and he's tried to work the corners his last couple of passes, and he'll throw it outside the hashes again. Confusion as the Chiswick is in there to break it up, and Callie Chiswick made the big play on the previous drive, knocking the pass down at the middle. He read that one well, and he blew it up.
Yeah, and you can tell that's a play that you identify on film right there. That's from, hours in the film room, scouting. He picks this up very early that it's a screen out in the flat, and he blows it up. Creates a 3rd and long for the Wofford Terriers right here.
You're trying to tell me the son of a coach, Chiswick, spends a lot of time looking at film? Are you kidding me?
I wonder where that came from.
He probably was watching that when he was 2 years old, but that you can read and react, or you can be the aggressor. He was the aggressor on that play. Great read. 3rd down and 10. Wyrick has time, floats it too high, intercepted and dropped. Oh, the reigning SoCon Player of the Week thought he had another one.
Wow.
But Hugh dropped it. Doesn't happen very often.
Disappointing to not get the pick there, but you see the adjustments from this Paladin defense. They're in a quarters look there. They have a deep safety over the middle, which is Hugh Ryan, and he just can't come up with the interception. He's going to be kicking himself for that one later tonight. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world for the Paladins, because that's on 3rd down. You got a playmaker in a lackluster punt unit who's already had some issues getting a kickoff for Wofford. You've got a chance to get prime field position still, and the Paladins are fully in the driver's seat in Paladin Stadium.
That would have been Ryan's 5th interception, and I will tell you, that would have been his easiest. Big punt taken by Harris all the way back at the 12-yard line. Terrific punt, and he'll be stopped at the 16-yard line. So a punt gave Furman good field position on the previous, but give credit to Wofford there for pinning now Furman inside their 20-yard line, giving their defense a chance. Look, this defense has been exploited, no doubt. But Furman's also had pretty good field position. This is the first time they're starting inside their own 20.
Yeah, and, this Paladin offense hasn't struggled for anything. Tyler Huff is perfect through the air at 11 for 11 for 170 yards and a touchdown. Dominic Roberto, he's picking up over 5 yards a carry. He's added 2 touchdowns on the ground. Everything is clicking for this Paladin O. They've got a chance to take a 3-score lead right here, deep in their own field. Let's see if they can string together an 84-yard drive and get all the way to Pater to make this a 21-point game.
I think that was a good play by Harris to catch that punt, too. If you let that go, there's a chance that gets downed inside the 5-yard line. So he made the catch. It gives him reasonable field position and it allows you to do this. Give it to Roberto, pick up some yardage on 1st down. You kind of want to manage it on this side of the field, get the 1st down, and then hit the gas pedal.
Yep, you don't want to give Wofford prime field position back, and even though your defense has adjusted and looked great over the tenure of the last 3 drives, this is an offense that's putting up points at a rate we haven't seen, and they've been able to bomb you over the top for big plays. So this Paladin offense has to keep their foot on the gas. You're going to need more points to win this game, and you got to just stay in the driver's seat if you're Furman right here.
Evan Jumper snaps it to Huff, who throws the middle screen. And a pickup of 3. Miller with the reception.
3 yards is a win right there, Bob, because now, the entire playbook is open on 3rd down. You got 3rd and 3. We saw on a previous 3rd and 3 on the last drive for this Paladin offense, they were able to run for a 1st down. So you can rely on Roberto here to get you 3, or you can throw the ball through the air.
And correction, that was Shiflett, I believe, 12, not 82, who got the reception and picked up a few yards. Shiflett threw a touchdown pass on the opening drive to our surprise. Another one of those seniors honored today. And, boy, senior day really can be an emotional day when you start thinking back of everything you've gone through. You show up on campus, you're 18 years old, you don't know what to expect. And then now here you are, you're 22, 23 years old. You can probably go out into the real world and get a job. But before then, you've got to win yourself a football game against your rival and make the playoffs. We just mentioned Jumper, who is the guy who has centered almost every snap of the season so far for the Paladins. He appears to be okay.
Yeah, one of the leaders for this team as well. Hopefully he is okay, able to get right back on the field. Good that he's walking off under his own power, but he does have to come out for a play regardless.
So Wyatt Hughes will enter the game and probably snap it back. So we'll be careful on the exchange here for the Paladins and make sure it's a good snap on 2nd down and 5. I'm sorry, pardon me, it's 3rd down and 3. Huff will keep it. It's got plenty of space and got the 1st down. Takes a bit of a lick. Pays the price for getting that 1st down, but he does indeed get it.
And that's the luxury from getting 3 yards apiece on 1st and 2nd down. It may not be the prettiest brand of football to the fan, but it's how you play winning football. You get a 4-yard rush from Roberto on the first play. You get, you throw it out to your tight end on the flanker screen on the 2nd play. You make 3rd down manageable. You open up the playbook and you continue to move the chains.
Clay Hendricks said his team's playing its best ball of the year right now. I will tell you, the entire Furman coaching staff is coaching their best game of the year right now. They have this thing scripted to perfection, and they are really, really getting it done. And it helps to have an also-con running back to carry the load. Dominic Roberto in the Wofford territory as he picks up 24 yards.
Great blocking up front right there from the Paladin offensive line. A big hole for Roberto to run through on that left side, and he's not going to miss those. As you see right here, it's about winning the trenches. What a block right there from 55. Jacob Yohanning able to clear that hole out for Roberto to run through.
And credit to Hughes, who stays in at center. This team hasn't lost any of its rhythm going to the backup center. It feels like Furman has lived in Wofford territory in this first half, and they're there again. Little movement along the line, and maybe there was a snap situation in that time, and they'll move them back 5 yards right back into their own territory.
Yeah, false start there is not ideal, but those aren't drive killers. Those holding penalties will be drive killers. So 1st and 15, you're going to have to get creative with your play call, but not the end of the world. If you're the Paladins, just stay composed and stay true to who you are here.
This Wofford defense has got to be reeling a little bit. I mean, they have seen a variety. It hasn't been one thing. And it's not like they're getting dominated at the line of scrimmage with the running game. It's not like they're just giving up big plays. It's been the whole variety pack that they've seen. Slip screens, end arounds, straight running between the tackles, throwing the ball deep. I mean, they've gotten the whole variety thrown at them, and they haven't been able to come up with a stop yet. Roberto with space. Dominic Roberto, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys trying to take him down. 15-yard pickup, close to a first down.
Man, and I am so impressed with Jacob Yohanning for the Furman Paladins. Right there, he's pushing the pile, and he's the lead blocker on the right side this time, out in front of everybody else. This Furman Paladins offensive line may go overlooked because of how the offense is clicking, but I'm telling you guys right now, it all starts up front for the Paladins, and they are winning the battle in the trenches.
Jumper is back in, snapping it back to Huff. Kendall Thomas, room down to the 20-yard line. Thomas's best game of the season.
Yeah, and Bob, you're talking about, just the diversity with the play calling. The ball is getting spread around. You're getting it into your playmakers' hands in space, and your offensive line is creating these holes. Your wide receivers are blocking really well on the outside as well. Everything is clicking for this Paladin offense. This is the best they've looked all year.
Thomas had 30 carries coming into the game. He's touched the ball 5 times already. He remains in the backfield next to Huff. Huff slings it, another open receiver, and another potential touchdown for the Paladins. The lunge forward, and the officials converge. Touchdown, Furman. Joshua Harris with his 4th touchdown of the season.
And that's just great coverage recognition from Tyler Huff. That is a veteran play. It's what you expect from the 5th-year transfer for Presbyterian. He recognizes the coverage early, he gets the ball out quick, and he lets his receiver do the rest. Paladin's going to go up 3 scores in an emphatic fashion.
We mentioned the key to the game for Wofford was playing a perfect game. By that, we meant a perfect road game where you simply don't make any mistakes. Dude, Furman's played a perfect offensive football game. Literally perfect.
I don't think they could have been any better. I think you could have talked to Clay Hendricks before the game and said, what is your perfect scenario offensively? And I don't even think he would have expected Tyler Huff to be 13 for 13 for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns thus far.
LaPro's 5 for 5 on the points after. And the Furman Paladins are up 35-14. Senior day, sunshine, 50 degrees, playoff spot on the line, and everything's looking great. In the land of purple, Paladins are up big in the second quarter.
Man, I make this cheesiest chain look good.
I'm still feeling the cheesiest.
You are a wheel of cheese. Cheez It, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
It's time to vote for the Taco Bell Live My Student section.
Choose the winning section and you get a free Taco Bell Crunchy Taco.
Download the app, sign up for Taco Bell Rewards, and vote now.
Let's go!
At the Home Depot, we have the tools to make holiday magic, especially when it comes to getting the perfect gift. For all those project-doing, technology-loving, holiday hosting, tool organizing, woodshop working people in your life. And gifts for everyone else in between. Get Black Friday savings all through November at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I have something for you.
I have something for you, too. Let's give him a minute.
It's a beautiful time for basketball.
I go through the pain like Giannis.
Where freaks challenge kings.
You know I'm dunking on these balls like LeBron. We in the rack with the Rose
And dynasties old and new collide.
Steph Curry, I'm a warrior, shots
Lakers Bucks in a special alt-cast with Stephen A. Part of a doubleheader. Friday on ESPN.
NBA on ESPN time.
They're winning up front. Their offensive line has been so good.
Welcome back to Paladin Stadium, where Furman has been perfect. The 12th-ranked team in the nation has touched the ball 5 times on offense. They have 5 touchdowns. Tyler Huff, quarterback, looking to have maybe some postseason honors come his way if he continues to play like this. Ian Williams will kick it off for Furman. Best in the business at knocking it out of the back of the end zone. And it's kind of a party atmosphere. It has been. The noon kickoff on a beautiful day. A little bit of a traffic jam coming in this morning. Tents are up. The purple is flying. It's been a great atmosphere.
I was expecting it to be a little chilly as we're going to go squib kick here. Wofford with a bit of a unique look on this return, but was expecting it to be a little bit chilly. It's been great. We got the breeze flowing in up here, Bob. It feels great outside, and the Paladins are playing great football. A lot of points being put up on the board by both teams.
I'm not sure if Williams did it on purpose, but that was a perfect kick. It gets inside the 20. It's not going out of bounds. By the time it gets there, you allow your defensive unit, your special teams unit to get down there, and now Wofford, as if they don't have enough trouble, has to start inside their own 20.
Yeah, and they're pinned deep here again, and for this offensive unit, you have to respond right here. You're down 21 points. Furman gets ball at half. There's still 8 minutes left in the quarter. Your defense quite literally has not gotten a stop the entire game. Furman is 5 for 5 in this game with 5 touchdowns. So big drive here for the Terriers. See if they can shake back.
Ryrick has said it's a good running game that sets up my pass, and they will try and reestablish a running game, but won't get much on first down there. As Cal Parsons maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage.
We talk about the Furman offensive line winning up front, and that's a big part for their success on offense. After the first 2 drives, up front, the defensive line has been dominant for the Paladins. They're winning the trench battle on both sides, and it's indicative by the scoreboard. I mean, you see the Paladins up 3 touchdowns, but the big boys are getting it done. And, Bob, I want to date back all the way to the big hit from Coleman. I think that was an energy shifter for the Paladin defense. Everyone started playing harder after that hit. It got the crowd fired up. It got the bench fired up, and they've been electric ever since.
Yep, set up a blitz, and they blitz here, and another big hit. That could be picked off. And it is another Furman Paladin turnover as they get the interception. They lead the league in it. And how about that from Micah Robinson?
And who else but Micah Robinson gets his 3rd pick of the year for this Paladin defense. They dial up the blitz at the perfect time, and if the Wofford defense wasn't having enough issues, prime field position for the Paladins, threatening to be in the red zone soon, and could put up their 42nd points in the first half. It's unheard of what I'm saying right now, but what a dialed-up blitz from the Furman defense.
Callie Chiswick is playing his best game as a Furman Paladin. He's had some good ones. He applied the hit. Robinson gets the interception. Ryan should have had one earlier in the game. Robinson and Ryan have the little rivalry who's going to get the most.
Yeah.
And Ryan could have ran away with it, but now it's 4-3 as Robinson gets his 3rd, and here come the Paladins again on offense with great field position. I'll give it to Roberto, and Wofford finally gets a stop as Honora makes the tackle.
Yeah, and this Wofford defensive unit we mentioned is reeling. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, you can see that the defensive unit is reeling by the scoreboard, but it's been much more convincing from the Paladin offense. If you've seen each of the 5 drives, there has been no struggle from Furman. They've controlled first down. They've controlled second down. They've executed on third down, and when they've gotten the red zone, there's been no hiccups. This Paladin offense is clicking on every level, looking to make this a 4-touchdown game.
Play action. Huff will keep. Pump fake inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line, and that'll be enough for another Furman Paladin first down.
And a great play recognition there from Tyler Huff. He's doing such a good job of reading the game right now. Primary read isn't there on the play action, sees the corner open with man coverage, tucks the ball and runs, picks up a crucial first down for the Paladins in the red zone.
No reason to force anything. You're up 21 in the first half, and you've got great field position, and it's first down. Knowing your situation, knowing there's absolutely no reason to force anything, making the smart call. So another first down and another trip to the red zone for the Paladins. Huff over the middle, complete. Harris down to the 3-yard line.
And I'll tell you, Harris is such a talent right there. You see him off his break, makes a great cut inside on that slant, catches the ball, takes the hit, and absorbs the contact. Paladins looking to punch one in. And Bob, we've said it the previous 2 times they've been in this territory. This feels like it's going to be a handoff to Dominic Roberto to punch one in. Would be his 3rd score of the day.
He's done it before. 3 touchdowns in the game is his career best. Set up in a power formation. Shiflett is the lone receiver, split to the bottom of the screen. Huff will keep it. He'll run to the purple, and it's another Paladin touchdown.
And he gave the Terrier defender a little bit of a point there. This Furman offense is clicking on every level. It's too easy for the Paladins right now. They're going to go up 42-14 in this one, and Tyler Huff is quite literally playing the perfect football game.
4th rushing touchdown of the season for Huff. And, maybe he was just pointing at the scoreboard saying, that's 6 for 6.
Wow. I mean, it's just the moxie that the Paladins are doing it with. It's the sense of comfortability. This team is just so poised.
Leave no doubt. Selection committee, leave no doubt. Furman would like to be here again next week playing in a postseason game. And they have scored 42 points. And we still got 5:41 to go in the first half. Furman all over Wofford. We'll be right back.
Are you kidding me? Is that for me?
How?
Oh, can't wait to see what you got your mother.
The BMW Road Home Sales Event, on now. Through November 30th, your purchase of a new BMW will help provide 200 meals to local families in need.
It's bow time. This is Larry. And this is the big, bold, hand-breaded Bo's chicken sandwich. Larry knew he couldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, he is a chicken after all. But Larry craved this flavor-packed hunk of sandwich. And before he knew it, his little chicken heart belonged to Bojangles forever. Thanks to a sandwich so juicy, so tender, even a chicken wants to eat it.
Larry, people are trying to eat.
Nachos, better with Pepsi.
You fired up the grill for one hot dog? Seriously?
Hot dogs, better with Pepsi.
Think big. Something life-changing. I'm talking education. Let's get inventive. Blow things up in a good way. Do it for 20 years? Wake up and education has received billions in funding. Who does all this? If you've ever played one of these or these, that would be you. Yeah, thank you.
For the 96th time, these two upstate rivals get together. Out of Spartanburg is the Wofford Terriers. Out of the Greenville Travelers Rest area, the Furman Paladins. And it's been all Furman. It's a sunny day. Temperature's gone up a little bit from the 40 degrees, so it's very comfortable to be in the sun. Hey, we even see some shorts and skirts. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Hey, we say it's a perfect day for football in November. It does feel like football. But the Paladins have been perfect as well. So far it's been the perfect Saturday on campus here at Furman.
Yeah, I mean, Hendricks, the fans, the alumni, everybody's got to be thrilled right now because it quite literally could not have been a better start for the Furman Paladins here in Paladin Stadium offensively. They are 6 for 6 on offensive drives with 6 touchdowns, and they get the ball at half.
Fair catch, so Wofford will bring it out to the 25-yard line. And now if you're the Wofford Terriers, what do? You can't score 5 touchdowns on one play. I know, again, that sounds like something announcers say, but it's like you have to find something. Hey, maybe you sustain a drive here, or at least keep the Furman offense off the field before the half.
You got to dig deep and battle back. And, early on, you had success taking shot plays over the middle against cover 2 looks that Furman was giving. They've adjusted. You're seeing more cover 3. You're seeing more cover 4. You're seeing more man coverage. When defensive adjustments comes, your offense has to adjust. So look for Wofford to try and get the ball into space here, maybe in the flats.
That's exactly what they do. They'll find the freshman who's got a little bit of room, close to a first down, picks up 13 yards, and the Wofford Terriers will move the sticks as Cal Parsons gets his 3rd reception of the game.
Yeah, that's the exact adjustment Wofford needed to make. If Furman's going to hang back with 2 high safeties and you're playing quarters look with your corners going back, what you have to do is you have to attack sideline to sideline. You have to get the ball out into the flats. Your run game has been lackluster so far. Furman's really winning the battle up front, so you have to have Jimmy Wyrick get the ball out quick, get it to playmakers in space, find any way you can to churn out some yards and get a drive going.
Wyrick will throw that one away. He was under pressure. He wanted to roll to the right, and I think it was the Furman defense that blew up that play early. Forced him to roll left, and Wyrick wisely throws it away.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscommunication there potentially between Wyrick and Walker in the backfield. We saw, Walker kind of give him a little bit of a hug, say, all right, dude, get out to your left. And miscommunication with the wide receiver, obviously, who was going back across the field, and a busted play there. Paladins do a good job of converting and strapping up down the field, playing some good coverage.
Wofford will try and run it up the middle, and there's just nothing there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that play call. 2nd and 10, not really a running down, especially when you haven't been able to establish the run game. And now Furman's going to be able to sit back, have 3 or 4 defenders at the sticks here on 3rd and long. And the Wofford offense, who threw a pick on last possession, is going to have to press for some yardage here. You're going to have to be perfect against the potential quarters look to slot it just into one of those zones. Difficult position here for Wofford, and an offensive unit who's really reeling have gone 4 straight drives without a score.
Furman's dialed up a few blitzes on the previous 3rd and longs that have been very successful. See what Coach Vaughn and his defensive unit do here on 3rd and 10. They bring 5. Wyrick stands in the pocket, throws over the middle, complete. That looks a lot like the early first quarter. Landon Parker makes the catch inside the 30. So they went with a bit of a linebacker blitz, leaving the corner on the island, and it's Parker that makes the play.
Yeah, that's man coverage right there, and he's able to win his one-on-one matchup, and hopefully this injury is just nothing more than a little bit of a tweak. But you see a big win right there from Landon Parker in one-on-one coverage against the Furman defensive back.
Yeah, Dominic Morris has been usually lined up against the Jeté, and he's done a great job at that situation. But I think it's come a little late in the season. He's a 5th-year senior, but Landon Parker's become quite a weapon here in the SoCon. We'll take a quick timeout as they deal with Parker. When we come back, Wofford will have the ball at the 30-yard line, trailing by 4 scores.
Now that's the shakaroni.
Dang, that's huge. Oh, that's my piece of the shakaroni. That's the biggest one we make. Extra pepperoni, extra cheese on that thing. Somebody save me a slice? No.
They'll donate $1 from every shakaroni to the Papa John's Foundation.
Shakaroni. Oh, bring it in. Shakaroni. Shakaroni. Get on beat. Shakaroni. Shakaroni. Shake that wig on, come on. Shakaroni. You guys were so offbeat. Okay. All right, let's eat.
I feel the cheesiest, but the chain puts the extra cheese on the cracker.
It's here. Look at this. It's the cheesiest chain.
This is the cheesiest day of my life.
This takes spinning cheese to a whole new level. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Our Fairbanks, Alaska store is closest to the North Pole, which has folks wondering, does Santa shop at the Home Depot?
No comment. No comment.
No comment. There's a lot of Nicks in this town.
Somebody made the naughty list.
These tiny gloves are the most popular. We don't know why.
It's elves.
Come on, Bryce.
Find everything you need to make the holidays yours. And maybe Santa?
Santa, I'm Keith.
At the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
I've never seen a big guy wear flip-flops.
Mercedes-Benz is turning electric, completely on its head. The all-new, all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz.
Beautiful campus, Furman University in the foothills, just north of Greenville, just south of Travelers Rest, and no finer backdrop for college football, especially on a great November afternoon. Wofford Terriers bringing a pretty sizable crowd with them down the interstate from Spartanburg to Furman. So Wofford has the ball after a big play at the 30-yard line. That's the good news. Bad news is Landon Parker, maybe their top weapon, went off with a very gimpy ankle, it appears, and he's being tended to on the sideline. So Wyrick doesn't have one of his top weapons as they try and mount a dramatic and record-breaking comeback here at Paladin Stadium. So they'll go with the reverse, and this could work. Looked like it was going to go for a touchdown. There's a lot of green space over there. But Pinnock gets ridden out of bounds before the first down, picks up 9. Pinnock comes up and makes the play.
Yeah, I like the creativity coming out of the break after the injury, and great play call, able to pick up a chunk play on first down. Credit to Jimmy Wyrick. He's out there blocking. You'll see it on the replay. He actually lays a pretty good block here to allow his receiver to get 3 or 4 more yards. So you win first down if you're Wofford. You get the chunk play to Parker the play before. You've got to lock in here and find a way to score 7 points. Get this back to a 21-point game. And that may sound overwhelming, but your only choice if you're the Terriers right now is to chip away.
And Pinnock has single coverage at the bottom of the screen, but they'll run it this time to Walker. Walker trying to get to the corner, gets strung out and brought down. Gilby there, as he is frequently for the Furman Paladins.
Right. And that's just a great tackle for Braden Gilby. And Bob, you talk about, this interior linebacker duo that the Paladins possess with Gilby and McCormick. They are so lethal. They're so good at shooting the gaps in these run plays. A big part of the reason that Wofford hasn't been able to establish the run game is that even when the holes are there, the gaps are being immediately plugged by either Gilby or McCormick. Gilby gets the tackle right there. First down for the Terriers here, almost in the red zone. Got to find a way to score 7 points.
5-man rush. Wyrick goes to the corner of the end zone. Miscommunication. Devin Matthews turned it out. Quarterback thought he was going to the corner.
Yeah, it looks like, Wyrick thought this was a fade route. Back shoulder was a pretty good ball, but comeback route was ran by the wide receiver on the far side. A bit of a miscommunication. That's not what you need on first down in a pivotal drive if you're Wofford.
Remember, they're in this great field position because Parker made the big catch down the middle, but Parker is still on the bench, and that's who they would look to here in the red zone in most occasions, but he's not there, so Wyrick's going to have to find somebody else, and he's pretty good at that. 9 different Wofford Terriers have caught a touchdown pass from him this year. Wyrick with the handoff. And that's going nowhere. So again, second time on 2nd and 10, they've run the ball between the tackles.
Yeah, 2nd and 10 delayed handoff is not a great play call to me. You haven't had success running the ball. Furman's got 6 or 7 in the box. You got to think that you got to let Wyrick air it out there, especially after the form he's been in over these past couple weeks. You decide to run the ball, and now your hands are tied behind your back on 3rd down as it's 3rd and 12 to go. And this is the biggest play of the game for the Wofford Terrier offense thus far. They have to find a way to convert because a field goal doesn't really do you any good to cut it from a 28 to a 25-point game.
Might be 4-down territory as well. Field goals aren't doing you any good, and that might be why they ran it on the previous play. Wyrick under pressure. Throws a deep out pattern, and it's caught by Devin Matthews. And he is going to be in for the touchdown.
And that is a great ball from Jimmy Wyrick right there. You recognize that you have man coverage on the outside. You lob up a one-on-one ball under pressure, and you let your receiver go make a play. Matthews able to corral it and run into the end zone. A big bounce-back drive for the Wofford Terrier offense as they cut this lead to 21 points.
Sort of off his back foot as well as he's getting away from it. So strong-armed Wyrick. And I would say Matthews made up for the miscommunication on the previous play by that time, making the catch. The point after is good, and the Wofford Terriers respond and get back on the board with their third touchdown of the game. It's a 42-21 game, so there's some fight in the short hair, feisty dogs. And, you know, the big thing these days, the middle eight.
Yep.
They talked about the middle eight, and right now Wofford's winning the middle eight.
Yeah, the middle eight, you know, the last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half, they say that's where games are won. And Wofford has an uphill battle if they're going to want to win this one. But on a positive note, 21 points in the first half, your offense has looked good at times. You know, Landon Parker has been big. Gite's made a couple big catches, and right there, Devin Matthews finds a way to get into the end zone. So defensively is where you have to buck up. Furman's got a chance to double dip here in this middle eight by getting a score going into the break and then getting the ball back out of break. So if you're Wofford, imperative that you get a stop on this drive right here. If this lead balloons back to 28 before the break, you might be dead in the water. You have to hunker down and get your first stop of the game here if you're this Terrier defensive unit, because your game could rely on it. The entire game could rely on it. And this is the last game of your season.
Furman has their timeouts in 96 seconds, and the way they've been playing in this half, that's plenty of time. Anderson and Thomas are back deep. Returnable kick. It'll be Wayne Anderson from his own 2. Wayne Anderson, as a flag comes flying in as Anderson breaks it free. He's inside Wofford territory, but hold on to everything.
Yeah, and that one appears it is going to come back for the Furman Paladins, as they might get a hold or a block in the back. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been Bryce McCormick there on the penalty.
It'll come from the spot, so it shouldn't pin Furman too far back. Well, the flag was thrown at the 25, he's saying. I didn't lip read that one. Did you get it?
I did not get that one either.
Well, you know, it's senior day, so in case it was a senior, we don't want to call anybody out. But let's see if we can see a hold. You're right. It may be on 3-1.
Regardless, big return from Anderson thwarted due to penalty. Furman now has to start on their own 15. Not the end of the world with how this offense has been clicking thus far, but obviously not ideal to have to go 85 yards in only a minute 24.
Just a mere formality for the way they're playing today.
Right.
Just makes it look better on the stat sheet. Huff rolls out, has multiple targets. Will throw to Joshua Harris underneath. Harris trying to get to the sideline. Does. Knocked out at the 22-yard line. A little bit of a late hit. No call.
I am surprised to not see that called, but just the maturity right there from Harris to know the situation. Very easily could have cut up field, maybe gotten closer to the first down marker or even gotten it, but that doesn't do you any good if you're staying in bounds, able to get out of bounds right there.
2nd and 3. The clock is running.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I thought he was very clearly out of bounds, and yeah, it looks like the refs are going to go fix the clock situation here now.
Furman coaching staff got the attention. So the clock is stopped. And the Paladins have a 2nd down and 3. Huff. Out pattern complete to Harris at the 30, out to the 31-yard line. Joshua Harris having his best game of the season, and he's had plenty of good ones.
Yeah, you know, he's having an absolute monster game. We mentioned previously that he's kind of the big hitter for this Paladin offense, averaging 13.8 yards per catch coming into the game, had 3 TDs coming into this game, and he's just, you know, making play after play, showing so much poise, sure hands, and you know, if you're Tyler Huff, it's just so nice to have the luxury of having Harris, Kendall Dean, the burner and Wade Anderson, and then Ryan Miller and Shiflett.
Huff throws an interception. First mistake he's made all game. The receiver was never open, and it hit 3-4 right between the numbers. So the interception for David Powers Wofford's top defensive player and hang on to everything. We got 62 seconds, and the Terriers have the ball in good field position.
Yeah, you mentioned the importance of the middle 8, and Wofford right now dominating the middle 8. A great job by Powers to just stay poised. And right there, I think that Tyler Huff thought that Powers was going to run with the drag route going underneath. He thought he could look off the linebacker. He throws it right at him. Powers doesn't bite for the bait in front of him. He stays right where he is and guards the deep crosser and makes Tyler Huff pay. Literally the only incompletion of the game for Tyler Huff goes to the other team now. Wofford's got a chance to capitalize and make this a 14-point game before the break.
Wow. Powers with the second interception of the season. He leads Wofford in tackles. He's got 67. So Wyrick now and the Terriers have some life. They have a couple of timeouts and the clock on their side. They'll throw short under the middle, complete for a first down, a 5-yard gain. Paladins will give them that. McCormick was there on the coverage. Wofford will hurry up to save a timeout. Clock ticking, down to 45 seconds. Wyrick has time, goes to the corner again looking for Matthews, and that one's just a little bit too tall.
Yeah, saw Tampa 2 look again there, and another place you can, exploit that cover 2 shell is on the sidelines right behind that defensive back who's playing in the flat. They go for the corner route there, try and take a shot at the sidelines, can't quite make the connection. 3rd and 6, and Bob, full transparency, I think this is 4-down territory for the Terriers.
Absolutely.
I think their path back into this game is very clear, and it's scoring 7 points on this drive. So you got to do anything you can to get a touchdown here before the break. This is 4-down territory.
38 seconds, but timeouts.
Yep.
So it's a very manageable situation, but right now they're having a hard time getting to play, and the clock is down to 6. Terriers have to hurry up here. They don't want to waste a timeout. 3 seconds, 2, 1. They get the snap off. 4-man rush. Wyrick throws complete. First down for Wofford, down to the 26-yard line. So another strike for Wyrick, who's finding a little bit of rhythm. And Pinnock is starting to become a pivotal player in for the injured Landon Parker.
Yeah, and they're going to run up to the line and spike it there to save a timeout. You got about 29 seconds on the clock, spiking it, taking 2nd and 10.
They have 2 timeouts, and with 29 seconds, that's probably a good call there. The
luxury now with spiking is we've established that this is 4-down territory because there's no point in kicking a field goal to make a 3-score game a 3-score game. The difference between 21 and 18 is not, significant enough to kick a field goal. So now you have the luxury of throwing the ball wherever you want, and you have the luxury of burning a timeout in the process. You've got 3 timeouts and almost 30 seconds on the clock to make the Paladin defense pay. We'll see where this Wofford offense goes. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and take another shot at the sideline, though, Bob.
4-man rush. Wyrick will step up. He's going to have to try and run, trying to get to the sidelines before he gets hit. He's knocked out by Blackshear. Clock stops. Pickup of 3, but now we're down to 20 seconds.
And right there, Bob, I understand the urgency to get to the sidelines and knowing the situation. I would have liked to see Wyrick cut the ball up the field and play for the first down. The clock stops on the first down. You have 3 timeouts. I think the first down is more valuable than the clock stoppage at that juncture, given Wofford's timeout situation. Now you're in 3rd and medium. You're at a weird distance. The playbook's open. You're going to have to throw, but it doesn't really make a big difference whether you're calling a timeout or not. You're going to have to burn timeouts to score regardless. I would like to see Wyrick, put his shoulder down, get up the field there, and play for the first down.
Paladins show blitz, but bring 4. Wyrick again to his favorite corner. He's been successful there, but not this time. In fact, the offensive player sort of became the defensive player and knocked that one away, preventing the interception. Good double coverage by the Paladins.
Yep, and that's cover 2 right there from the Furman Paladins, and they're able to find success in it. They've got 2 defenders right there. Not the proper play call right there from Wofford. They were expecting a different show, and it looks like they're going to send out the field goal unit, which is a pretty confusing decision for me.
But the good news was that was Landon Parker. Landon Parker back in the ballgame for the Terriers. They'll need him to make a comeback in the second half. And yes, it is a little surprising, but they're going to try and get points on the board here to end the first half. And the Furman Paladins are going to call a timeout.
Yeah, make sure there's no trickery going on, anything with a fake field goal potentially. But, to kick a field goal here, I understand the sentiment of putting points on the board, but you're kicking to make a 3-score game a 3-score game. It's going to remain a 3-score game by kicking this field goal. The difference between 21 and 18 is not significant enough to me to warrant kicking a field goal here. It'll be interesting to see if the play call has potentially changed and they send the offense back out there, but it seems like Coach Watson is pretty content with kicking the field goal and putting points on the board on this drive.
I know what you're saying, and the word, I don't know if he's content. I think he goes, I see 15 seconds. So even if we make a play and we get a first down, that leaves us 5 seconds.
Yeah.
and we only have one crack at the end zone. So they're thinking maybe they'll get a solid 3 points, have a little momentum heading into the halftime. Bridger Jones doesn't get a lot of opportunities to kick, but he's been pretty solid on most of them. And another timeout for the Furman Paladins as they try and ice the kicker from the Wofford Terriers.
Yeah, Coach Hendricks playing mind games right now with Coach Watson and the Terriers kicker, and the double ice right there with back-to-back timeouts.
I'm trying to exactly see if it's more than 5 yards. So if by chance you run into the kicker or go off sides, I think it would still be a 4th down scenario here. So I think it's a 4th and 5, but I think it's a long five. Not that that would necessarily come into play, but sometimes you maybe go for a block knowing that if you can get it. And who's better at blocking kicks in the SoCon than the Furman Paladins? Sachovka, number 7, keep an eye on him. They treasure and love the block kick. They've blocked 6 kicks in 1 punt this year. Bridger hoping to get this one off. It's blocked! Coleman blocked it. Blackshear has it. He steps out of bounds with 7 seconds.
Bob, what a call by you right there. This Paladin unit has excelled at blocking kicks all season, and they blocked the Terrier attempt at a pivotal juncture late in this first half. And on top of that, they got a chance to put points on the board on the other end.
They're spectacular. They live for this stuff. Coleman came up the middle. He's the big guy who takes up a lot of the blockers, and it was maybe 3 different Paladins could have got their hand on it. Sachovka was in there, Coleman was in there, and Blackshear picks it up and rumbles down the sideline and still saves 7 seconds on the clock. This may be the most exciting half of football that the Paladins and maybe the Terriers have played in a couple of years.
Yeah, and if you're the Paladins now, you're looking to get into field goal territory for your kicker.
7 seconds and a timeout. You can complete one over the middle. Pressure's on, though, and Huff goes down in a huff. Ball's loose. Paladins recover, and that is how the first half is going to end. We had a little bit of everything. A whole lot of touchdowns, a couple big special teams plays, and at the end of the first half, the 96 version of Wofford and Furman, well, it's a first half like no other. Most points ever scored in this rivalry in the first half. Furman leads it 42-21. We've got plenty for you at halftime coming up, so stick with us on a beautiful Saturday SoCon in Greenville, South Carolina.
Now that's the shakaroni.
Dang, that's huge. Oh, that's my piece of the shakaroni. That's the biggest one we make. Extra pepperoni, extra cheese on that thing. Somebody save me a slice? No.
They'll donate $1 from every shakaroni to the Papa John's Foundation.
Shakaroni. Oh, bring it in. Shakaroni. Shakaroni. Get on beat. Shakaroni. Shakaroni. Shake that wig on, come on. Shakaroni. You guys were so off beat. Okay, all right, let's eat.
I feel the cheesiest, but the chain puts the extra cheese on the cracker.
It's here. Look at this. It's the cheesiest chain.
This is the cheesiest day of my life.
This takes spinning cheese to a whole new level. Cheese It, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
I love this mattress.
Mm-hmm. So, can I ring you up?
We'll take it.
Ashley's Black Friday mattress sale going on now. Save big on select adjustable mattress sets and pay 0% interest for 72 months. Only at Ashley.
Oh, hi. What's this? A hospital bill? For $1,100?
Looks like your wallet may need a sling, too.
Tell me about it. Did that goat say Gap?
He's talking about expenses that health insurance doesn't cover.
Well, I'm talking about the money Aflac pays to help close that gap.
Aflac, huh?
Aflac! That duck could motor.
Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Aflac is an official sponsor of ESPN College Game Day.
At Honda, we know you have to drive through the mud. You want to reach the rainbow. Brave the desert before you find the oasis. Conquer the mountain to see how far your dreams can take you. The all-new CR-V and CR-V Hybrid, part of the Honda line of rugged vehicles.
Everyone is ready for Monday Night Football. The Saints meet the Buccaneers.
Mercedes-Benz is turning electric, completely on its head, bringing legendary design and state-of-the-art technology to a fully electric SUV. The all-new, all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz.
What if I told you that hiring a lawyer after a serious injury could result in you getting more money than handling your case alone?
Seriously? I guess it'd be worth a call.
Hurt in a wreck or on the job? Call Grimes Tysh Anderson.
Change is coming.
Welcome to our trip around the Southern Conference for Week 12. This is SoCon Football Weekly. Samford claimed at least a share of the 2022 Southern Conference Championship and the league's automatic qualifier into the upcoming FCS playoffs with a win in their ranked showdown over Chattanooga by a final of 34-24. The Bulldogs extended their winning streak to 8 games, the longest in school history, and 7 consecutive conference wins are also the most in program history for Samford, which enters play this week seeking just its second 10-win season and the first since 1991, as well as an unbeaten conference slate and an outright SoCon title. Furman also tasted victory in a ranked battle with Mercer. 23-13 was the final for the Paladins over the Bears, leaving the crew out of Greenville as the only remaining one-loss team in Southern Conference play. Quarterback Tyler Huff was responsible for 369 yards of total offense and a pair of touchdowns in the 23-13 win. Western Carolina used a 33-yard field goal from Richard McCollum as time expired to pick up a 2017 win over ETSU, putting the Catamounts in position for a 500 record in league play depending upon what happens this coming weekend. Wofford can also get to 500 in the conference. Despite a difficult start to the 2022 campaign, Wofford has gone 3-1 down the stretch, including a 34-16 win over VMI this past weekend, which puts the Terriers in position with a rivalry win over Furman this weekend to end 4-4 in conference action for the year. And the Citadel stepped out of conference to score its most points since a win over Davidson in 2015 by posting 66 in their contest with Virginia Lynchburg, also pitching a shutout for a 66-0 win.
Say cheese.
I was feeling cute. I might delete these later.
Don't delete them. I look good. Copy yourself out.
But my hair does look amazing. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
It's time to vote for the Taco Bell Live My Student section.
Choose the winning section and you get a free Taco Bell Crunchy Taco.
Download the app, sign up for Taco Bell Rewards, and vote now.
Let's go!
At the Home Depot, we have the tools to make holiday magic, especially when it comes to getting the perfect gift. For all those project-doing, technology-loving, holiday hosting, tool organizing, woodshop working people in your life. And gifts for everyone else in between. Get Black Friday savings all through November at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Mercedes-Benz is turning electric, completely on its head. The all-new, all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz.
blinks first. Visit theheismanhouse.com and see if it's you.
Oilers.
McDavid, he'll take it to the net.
Wild.
Handed it back. Kaprizov score!
A battle of superstars.
That is hockey.
Thursday on ESPN+.
It's a beautiful time for basketball.
I go through the pain like Giannis.
Where freaks challenge kings.
You know I'm dunking on his clothes like a bronze. We in the rack with the rose
And dynasties old and new collide.
Steph Curry, I'm a warrior, shots,
Lakers Bucks in a special all-cast with Stephen A. Part of a doubleheader. Friday on ESPN.
NBA on ESPN time.
Feels like we're on to something. Feels like a change is coming. Feels like a change is coming.
It's a beautiful time for basketball. Lakers Bucks in a special all-cast with Stephen A. Part of a doubleheader. Friday on ESPN.
Welcome back to SoCon Football Weekly. As mentioned in the previous segment, Samford has at least clinched a share of the league title and stands as the lone remaining unbeaten, trying to put together an unblemished conference slate. Furman is at 6-1, while a couple of teams, Chattanooga and Mercer, both sit with a pair of losses thus far on the 2022 campaign. Those are the four teams that remain in national rankings this week and are hopefuls for the upcoming FCS playoffs. Samford leads the way, tucked inside the top 10 in the country, while each of the other three Southern Conference representatives are solidly inside the top 20. The final regular season slate for this year features home games for VMI, Furman, Samford, and Western Carolina. The Keydets host the Citadel for a high noon kick. ETSU is on the road at Mississippi State for a noon kick, and Furman hosts Wofford in that Palmetto State showdown. That also kicks at noon and is an ESPN Plus contest. Samford hosts Mercer in a 1 p.m. kick on ESPN3, and the next star game of the week is in Cullowhee, where Western Carolina hosts Chattanooga. That's a 1 p.m. kick as well to round out the slate for November 19th. It's been an amazing Southern Conference season, and we look forward to catching you up to speed on the FCS playoffs in the next edition of SoCon Football Weekly. This has been SoCon Football Weekly for Week 12 of the college football season. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and your football.
The Taco Bell Live My Student section is back. More free tickets, more free tacos. Now you get to decide which school wins. Vote for the Live My Student section on the Taco Bell app. Choose right and you get a free crunchy taco. Let's go!
Our Fairbanks, Alaska store is closest to the North Pole, which has folks wondering, does Santa shop at the Home Depot?
No comment. No comment.
No comment. There's a lot of Nicks in this town.
Somebody made the naughty list.
These tiny gloves are the most popular. We don't know why.
It's elves.
Come on, Bryce.
Find everything you need to make the holidays yours. And maybe Santa?
Santa, I'm Keith.
At the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
I've never seen a big guy wear flip-flops.
Luxury exemplified. Innovation electrified. With Apple Music seamlessly integrated. The all-new, all-electric EQS SUV from Mercedes-Benz.
It's a beautiful time for basketball, where freaks challenge kings and dynasties old and new collide. Lakers Bucks in a special alt-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday on ESPN.
Tyson Fury.
Derek Chisora. Look at this. Coming at you like lions. Something right tapped again. There is only one.
Feels like we're on to something. Feels like a change is coming. Feels like a change is coming.
RG3 putting on an absolute show here against Aubie in the Nissan Heisman House. Want to go head-to-head with the Heismans? Get in on the action at theheismanhouse.com.
Lakers Bucks in a special alt-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday.
Well, welcome back to Paladin Stadium along with Facts and Childress. I'm Bob Mahalik. It is halftime in what has been the most remarkable first half of a rivalry that dates back to the 1800s. 42-21, Furman has the lead, 10 touchdowns, almost 600 yards of offense. Hey, this is the oldest rivalry in the South. They've never seen a half like that.
No, downright electric first half. Both offenses clicking. The Paladins put up 6 first-half touchdowns. Absolutely unheard of offensive numbers in the first half.
And they were 6 for 6. But in a way, it's a bit of a comeback for Furman because Wofford showed up here. And as we take a look at some of the first-half highlights, Terriers showed up ready to play. They've won 3 out of their last 4. And they played extremely well, moving the ball on their opening drive, exploiting the Paladins over the middle.
Yeah, able to take advantage of some of those cover 2 shells Furman was showing, and some great poise offensively from the Terriers over the tenure of the first half. 21 points isn't anything to scoff at.
But the Paladins had a counterpunch, and they did not get out of their offense when they got down early. And, when you've got Tyler Huff at the helm, a fifth-year senior, came in from Presbyterian College and really did a great job. And then you open up the playbook, and you have Shiflett throwing a touchdown pass to Ryan Miller. I mean, this was a very dramatic and exciting first half because these coaches came out, and this is what they were doing. They were making big plays. They were calling for the big plays, and the players were delivering.
Yeah, we were seeing chunk plays the entire tenure of the first half on both sides. And Tyler Huff, outside of the one late interception, really played the perfect half. That was his only incompletion of the entire tenure of the first half. So both offenses came out downright electric, chunk plays, energy. It was a picture-perfect first half from a fan's perspective.
Yeah, Dominic Roberto with 2 touchdowns. You saw Kendall Thomas get it down to the 1, and Dominique Roberto with 69 yards rushing had a touchdown. And then Coleman drops the hammer. Blackshear drops the hammer. The Paladin defense, when it got to 28-14, made a statement, enough is enough.
Yeah, and the Furman Paladins defense really locked in, forcing a couple turnovers, as you see right here with the fumble. Got a big interception. The Paladin defense hunkered down when it mattered the most, and that's why they maintained that 21-point lead headed into break.
All right, close to 600 yards of offense. Ryan Miller, of course, is going to get involved. Caught his 2 touchdowns. And the defense of the Paladins coming up with a couple of big stops towards the end of the half. Wofford trying to get back in this thing. They've got Parker, who's a terrific receiver. But still, the defensive backs really stepped it up in the second half, second quarter, made a couple of key plays. Joshua Harris has 7 catches, the most he's ever had in a game, gets that one in for a touchdown. So the Furman Paladins absolutely rolling on both sides of the ball. They lead the league in interceptions. Robinson gets another one right there. And they turn those turnovers into points. Huff, literally points, as he gets into the end zone. That's the one that made it 42-21. And the Furman Paladins in complete control of this football game, leading 42-21 at the half. So there's been a heck of a lot of offense in this game, a record amount of offense. We'll see if that continues when we come back to Paladin Stadium for the third quarter, where Furman leads at 42-21.
Treat yourself to rich Ghirardelli chocolate and luscious caramel. Ghirardelli Caramel Squares makes life a bite better.
It's time to vote for the Taco Bell Live My Student section.
Choose the winning section, and you get a free Taco Bell Crunchy Taco.
Download the app, sign up for Taco Bell Rewards, and vote now.
Let's go!
It's a beautiful time for basketball.
I go through the pain like Giannis.
Where freaks challenge kings.
You know I'm dunking on these calls like LeBron. We in the rack with the Rose
And dynasties old and new collide.
Steph Curry, I'm a warrior, shots,
Lakers Bucks in a special alt-cast with Stephen A. Part of a doubleheader. Friday on ESPN.
NBA on ESPN time.
Are you ready for football to get down to the nitty-gritty? Or whatever this is? Are you standing up, breaking down, and staying hyped for football? Good. Then you're ready.
Everyone is ready for Monday Night Football.
Now you waited your whole life for this.
Because this NFC South matchup brings the heat.
They don't like us, we don't like them.
Can Kamara and the Saints or Brady and the Bucs march out for the victory?
A lot of football. A lot of football, boys.
The Saints meet the Buccaneers.
True story. If you want to stand out, you have to cross enemy lines. Ohio State, Duke, North Carolina, Indiana. Experience the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Begins Wednesday at 7:15 on ESPN.
So where were we?
The playoff.
Only a handful of teams remained, hailing from kingdoms far and wide across the college football land, all vying for a spot in the playoff. Soon, they would take part in an epic playoff battle for the right to call themselves national champions.
And then what happened?
We'll find out soon.
Back at Paladin Stadium in Greenville, South Carolina, alongside Fax and Childress, I'm Bob Mahalik. Thanks to our outstanding sort of Greenville-based crew here in Furman, South Carolina, for bringing you an historic first half of football between these two great rivals. There were 10 touchdowns in the first half. We'll see what the second half brings us as the kickoff goes out of bounds. And there's a mistake for the Terriers to start, giving Furman very good field position to start a second half, and the Furman Paladin offense doesn't need much help today.
No, 6 touchdowns and 7 drives. The only error of the first half was an interception that Tyler Huff threw. Late in that first half, David Powers was able to jump in front of a receiver and make a play. Thankfully for the Paladins, the Terriers did not capitalize off of that interception, so Furman with the chance to go back up 28 here, make this a 4-score game again. Offense is getting prime field position to start it off at the 35.
Again, to reset the table, if the Paladins win today, they certainly should host a playoff game. If they win today with runs like this from Wayne Anderson, they can win the SoCon championship or have a co-SoCon championship. And, you know, we promised Clay Hendrick, like his players, we wouldn't be distracted, we'd focus on the game. But we're scoreboard watching, and the Paladins can get a little momentum at halftime despite the fact that they're leading, knowing that Samford is losing by 3 in the first half. So Mercer's giving Samford a game. The Paladins know right now this second half could be for a share of the SoCon title.
Yeah, and the turnaround for Furman is funny. Beating Mercer last week, now needing them to win.
Your friends one week and enemies the next. Dominique Roberto takes it right between the tackles, picks up 4. Typical Roberto game so far, 11 carries, 74 yards, couple of touchdowns.
The fact that that's run-of-the-mill for him, it's your average Saturday coming out here at noon. It may score a couple touchdowns, break the 100-yard threshold probably here in the second half. Just casual Saturday for Dominique Roberto. He does it just as good as anyone in this conference.
Miller does it better than anybody in the conference. And the all-conference tight end is still going down to the 26-yard line as he picks up 14 yards.
To have not just a tight end that can threaten you vertically, but you can throw a screen to your tight end and not a setup tight end screen, a flanker screen out in the flat like he's a wide receiver. I mean, this guy is so versatile with his skill set. You saw him come across for a jet sweep motion pass earlier. They use him in a bunch of different ways. They're so creative with Ryan Miller, and they really accentuate his skill set to the fullest here in this Paladin offense.
Furman taking advantage of good field position to start the second half, and they're rolling again. Huff in the pocket, out of the pocket. A lot of green. Dives inside the 20, into the red zone, down to the 19-yard line, sets up a second down and 3.
And I'll tell you, Bob, I think Ryan Miller had a touchdown if there was a clean pocket right there for Tyler Huff. What they did was ran a shot play off of play action, sending him over the middle. You saw Huff loading up, ready to throw it. It would have been about at the A in the end zone that the Paladins are trying to score into, but the protection wasn't quite there. The Wofford front got home on the Furman offensive line. Huff makes a smart decision to tuck it and get a positive gain on first down.
Roberto. No gain on the play. Good surge by the Wofford interior lineman that time as they pushed the purple backwards. First time that's really happened a lot.
Yeah, back-to-back plays where the Wofford front has made an impact, and now a big 3rd down and 2 for Furman ensuing. They're looking to kind of slam the door on Wofford, and Wofford grasping for straws, trying to cling to that last breath to maybe still compete in this football game. This is the biggest play of the game for both sides, in my opinion. If Furman could get a first down here, get inside the 10 potentially, they've got a chance to put this one away with a touchdown.
Thomas will run it. He's got room. Kendall Thomas inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line. It's another Furman Paladin first down.
And that's just trusting your boys to win up front. Furman has consistently won up front all day long, and right there, they're able to clear the hole for Thomas, who's able to zip right through the gap between the left guard and the left tackle and make the run for the first down. They're inside the 10, and, to have Roberto and Thomas, you can kind of provide the power back and the speed back. You give him a little bit of a different look, and he's able to speed his way right through that gap for the first down.
Well, your guy, Joe Hanning, 55 up front, was 5 yards downfield making a block.
Yep.
Running backs love that. Huff has 1 rushing touchdown in this game. He now has number 2. So the second half begins like the first half was for the Paladins with another touchdown.
Just an extremely composed and controlled drive for Furman coming out of the halftime break. This might be the dagger in the Wofford Terriers off the legs of Tyler Huff. Tucks it and runs, evades 2 tackles, gets between a gap, and finds pay dirt for the touchdown.
We said the keys to the game about an hour and a half ago when we started this broadcast was for Wofford to win on the road, perfection. Kicking the ball out of bounds off the kickoff gave Furman outstanding field position, really put their defense in a bad way, and the Paladins have had an answer offensively all day long. Furman, the 13th ranked team in the nation, looking like a top 10 team for sure, as they have the lead right now, 49-21.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
It's bow time. This is Larry. And this is the big, bold, hand-breaded Bo's chicken sandwich. Larry knew he couldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, he is a chicken after all. But Larry craved this flavor-packed hunk of sandwich. And before he knew it, his little chicken heart belonged to Bojangles forever. Thanks to a sandwich so juicy, so tender, even a chicken wants to eat it.
Larry, people are trying to eat! Jewelry has always been the most powerful gift of love, whether it's an engagement or an anniversary. Here at Hales, we're in the business of celebrating your life's most special moments, from the past, the present, and the future. Being Greenville's oldest business means we understand that we're only as good as how you feel when you leave the store. We welcome you to visit our flagship jewelry store.
Happily ever Hales.
This holiday season, Ford wants to help you shine bright. So, this Black Friday, choose a vehicle in stock or simply place a custom order. Lock in your rate and you're protected, even if rates go up before your order comes in. Plus, thousands of vehicles are arriving daily, just in time for the holidays. This Black Friday, lock in this low rate on a new 2022 Ford F-150. Hurry, choose from over 7,000 Ford trucks and SUVs, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
SoCon football from Paladin Stadium brought to you by Ingalls, BMW, Bon Secours. It was a high noon shootout, the first noon game of the season for the Paladins. The crowd showing up and the Paladins showing off. 49 points for Furman as they have the lead over their rivals from Spartanburg, the Wofford Terriers, 49-21. Huff has 2 rushing touchdowns. Now he's thrown for 2. Dominic Roberto has a couple. And we've only just begun here in the second half.
Yeah, and Furman's defense has a chance to make a statement. 28-point deficit with not a ton of time to play. In retrospect, you're more than halfway through this ball game if you're Wofford. If the Paladins can get a stop or potentially a turnover here, it could be the final dagger in the Wofford Terriers, and that's not going to help as you're muffing the kickoff.
Got to call for it like in baseball. You had 2 men standing on the same side of the field. Should have been Cal Parsons. Instead, there was a minor collision, and as if things aren't going bad enough for Wofford at the moment, they'll start inside their own 10. So a complete reversal of Wofford allowing Furman to have the ball at the 35 to start their drive. Wofford will have to start their drive at the 8. And again, we touched upon this from the very beginning, and it will be said again and again as long as Furman's playing in the postseason. Special teams are so important, and all season long, Furman has absolutely won the special teams battle.
Yep, win the special teams battle again there with great kick coverage. Wofford staring down the barrel here. You got to go 91 yards to get pay dirt here.
Pressured. And the throw is caught by one hand, but they lose 3 yards on the play.
That's an incredible grab, but unfortunately for the Terriers, and that's a negative gain right there, and that really does not do that catch justice with what it'll go down as on the stat sheet.
Yeah, well, Jordan Davis has been targeted a few times today. That's a beautiful catch, his 3rd, but it loses 3 yards.
And now if you're Wofford, the playbook gets even shorter because you can't have too big of a drop back here for your quarterback. Now you got to worry about a safety as well. So really dangerous territory here for the Terriers, and the Paladins have a chance to capitalize big time.
Nathan Walker is the lone running back. And they'll give it to Walker. A South Carolinian out of Cross High School has had a very solid career here in the SoCon for the Wofford Terriers, playing his final game for Wofford.
Did a good job of just kind of getting some breathing room there. You get out of your own end zone to an extent. You can have your quarterback drop back now, but still, 3rd and 7. It's 3rd and long, and this is a big play for Wofford. You got to imagine their lifeline dies if they don't convert and have to punt right here.
They'll send 3 to the top of the screen. And it's a 4-man rush. Wyrick, patient, throws, completes, and it's going to be shy of a first down. Bryce McCormick in there to make the tackle. And that's what has to be done if you're defense. You're giving him that 5-yard pass. The key is now your linebacker or whoever it is, safety and quarterback, has to make the tackle. And McCormick usually does.
Good pressure by the front 4, and the linebackers for the Paladins continue to shine. McCormick does such a good job of tackling in space, able to make the crucial tackle there. And Furman has a chance to not just put Wofford away here, but really just deliver the knockout blow. A 35-point lead would be insurmountable.
Harris back deep, calls for the fair catch, and will make it at the 46-yard line. So the Paladins get another chance on offense. to get it up over 50. They lead 49-21. We're over 650 yards of total offense combined for these two teams, and it's been quite the exciting afternoon here in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, it's been downright electric. You look at the points on the board. It really doesn't even do it justice. There's been chunk plays, there have been turnovers, there have been blocked field goals. This game has had a little bit of everything. You're running the ball, you're throwing the ball. Everything is clicking for Furman. Wofford's held their own on the offensive end, but right now, all Paladins, as you can see, indicative by the scoreline.
And we'll see if the game plan changes to try and take more time off the clock and do a little time of possession thing. Certainly the way the offensive line is playing and Roberto is running, that's a possibility as Dominic Roberto picks up 5 on first down.
Yeah, you'll take 5 every time. Actually, Dominic Roberto's average per carry this year is 6.1 coming into this game, and he's eclipsed that in this one. He's just such a steady runner. He provides that consistency, and we've got a great offensive line in front of you that's been opening up holes all day. It makes your all-star running backs, life so much easier to just be able to use his ball carrier vision, which is elite, and punch through those holes for big gains.
Yeah, Anderson Tomlin's done another terrific job up front, too. Number 72, pancaking folks, a senior playing in his final regular season home game. Very experienced offensive line that's been together.
Yep.
And this is their moment. This is their moment. This is their time of year. This postseason is going to be where they leave their final indelible mark here at Furman University.
And if you're going to win in the postseason, you're going to have to win in the trenches. I think this is a great tone setter for the Paladins headed into postseason play to be able to dominate a game up front on both sides of the ball against Wofford in a crucial rivalry matchup. It gives great momentum to all of your guys up front headed into the playoffs.
3rd and short. Roberto. And this is going to be enough. I believe he's got probably right on the stick, but this is exactly what Coach Clay Hendrick and the offensive staff now want. They've already taken, look, they've had drives of only 1:20. They've already taken 2 minutes off the clock here on this one.
Yeah, and the clock is your friend. You're up 28 points. There's no reason to be in a rush. You've got one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the conference. Rely on him. Rely on your big boys up front that have been ever so steady today. Milk the clock and kill the game off. Don't leave Wofford any chance of getting their way back into this one.
Okay, it's a lot of math, but I believe Wofford needs 4 touchdowns, correct?
Correct.
All right, so they need at least 4 at-bats.
Yep. They've got to get the ball back 4 times, and at the pace that Furman's currently going at, it may not be possible if they keep continuing to kill off the clock. And if they get a 5th touchdown, I think this one's over, Bob.
Exactly. And that Wofford defense, they've got to be exhausted.
Oh, they're reeling. They're reeling big time. They've been on the field for a lot of this game. They're giving up chunk plays, but also Furman showing balance in attack. They're showing they can beat you over the top with the chunk plays. They can throw the ball, but right here is the sign of a more mature football team that can also win in any sort of climate in postseason play. If you can pound the rock as well as throw the ball, you can compete with anybody in the country.
Run the clock down to 2. He's going to throw to Thomas. He's got plenty of blockers. Miller makes a block. Anderson makes a block. And it's a first down for the Furman Paladins.
It's just so calm, cool, and collected for the Furman Paladin offense right now. There's no sense of urgency, and there's no need to be. You're up 28 points. You're driving the ball down the field effortlessly. Continue to rely on your blocking on the interior and exterior. Get the ball to your playmakers and let them cook.
Nothing gets you a pat on the back in the receiver room more than making good blocks downfield. You can see on that play right there, a tight end and a wideout both making a block. Thomas stays in the game. Huff will pump, fake, and run. And he's got a lot of room. First down, Furman. Huff takes it down to the 12-yard line.
Yeah, and Furman looks like they're poised to deliver the knockout blow to the Terriers right here, but we do have a flag. I wonder if this one's coming back for a hold.
Look, you don't want to go into prevent mode too early. I'm not sure I want Huff taking too many more hits the rest of this football game.
I'm in agreement with you.
Offense, number 55.
And I think at this juncture, it is especially necessary that Tyler Huff slides. You got to swallow your pride a little bit. Huff is a competitor. We've seen it all season long. This might be the toughest guy in America when it comes to taking QB hits. He wants to put his arm down. He wants to put his shoulder down and get extra yardage. But you're up 28 points, and you could potentially be playing a home playoff game next week. It's time to chill. Don't take any hits. Slide and get down. It's not worth the injury.
Only conference loss of the season, Furman at home to Samford. Tyler Huff did not play due to injury.
Yep. And they're going to need him if they're going to want to make a postseason run. He is you could argue that he's the most important player on this team.
Well, he just threw the ball 15, 20 yards for a 2-yard gain because that was a right hash mark to left sideline out pattern to Joshua Harris, who has a career best 9th catch of the game. He had a great game last week, too, Harrison Mercer. Had 5 catches, 146 yards, and that big touchdown.
He's been a guy that's just, as you said, the great game last week, building on it this week. It seems like it's been a progression from him. It seems like the game is slowing down for him. He's understanding what it takes to get open consistently at this level. And for Tyler Huff to have another weapon to play with on the outside is ever so valuable.
Huff will throw over the middle. Complete. Touchdown. Shiflett. Oh, almost a touchdown. Down to the 1-yard line. Luke Shiflett, who threw a touchdown earlier, almost caught one.
Oh, that's got to be demoralizing a little bit for Shiflett to get tackled on the one like that. A great read out of the RPO by Tyler Huff. Hits the quick slant. Inside the goal line is Furman now, and you got to assume this will be punched home for 7.
Thought he had it. Thought we were going to get the rare throwing for a touchdown and catching a touchdown stat. Maybe we got plenty of time left in this football game. Thomas is the lone setback. Kendall Thomas gets it, tries the middle, and he's not going to get there. And they'll bring Roberto in off the sideline and give it to 230-pounder. I'm assuming this next play is Kendall checks out.
Yeah.
Dominic Rupert's in.
And Huff has had really good success running the football into the end zone. They haven't been able to detect him out of that read option. I think bringing Roberto in to this football game, you're also keeping Thomas out there. You might go with the split back look here. You may have some sort of option worked into the playbook, but at the end of the day, Wofford's got to monitor Tyler Huff in the ground game right here because he's not afraid to pull it, tuck it, and run it into the end zone.
Thomas has it with the lead blocker, and he walks it right into the end zone for a touchdown. Kendall Thomas on the board as the Paladins continue to roll.
And that is the dagger, Bob. Going to be 56-21 Paladins here. It could not have been a better showing for the Paladin offense. It could not have been a better showcase for the Paladin offense to the committee, impending the selection show coming up for the playoffs. And Furman takes a commanding 56-21 lead pending PAT.
Second touchdown of the season for Thomas. The pro's been perfect on the points after. And the lefty kicks it through. 56-21. Paladins in control at Paladin Stadium as they are taking care of business and hoping that in a couple of hours Mercer can do the same in Sanford and they'll have themselves a co-championship. Furman up big on Wofford. Still a lot on the line.
This is a personalized ad. It helps you find good ideas. This is Jada, who found one. And here's Greg, badly in need of a good idea. You see, you can discover a small business at any moment. Oh look, it's that moment when a good idea helped make a moment a better moment. You get the idea. Good ideas deserve to be found. Personalized ads help you find them.
It's a beautiful time for basketball. Lakers, Bucks, and a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday on ESPN. It's a beautiful time for basketball. Where freaks challenge kings.
You know I'm dunking on these calls like LeBron. We in the rack with the Rose
and dynasties old and new collide.
Steph Curry, I'm a warrior, shots, yeah.
Lakers, Bucks, and a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday on ESPN.
NBA on ESPN time.
Only a handful of teams remained, all vying for a spot in the playoff, for the right to call themselves the national champions.
Every coach in America will tell you you want to play your best football when the postseason is here. Those Furman fans know it. Their team is playing their best football this season, looking to make it 6 wins in a row as they head into the postseason. They lead their rivals from Spartanburg 56-21.
Yeah, this Paladin team is clicking on all cylinders. You talk about all three facets of the game. Well, your defense has forced 2 turnovers and is playing well. Your offense has 56 points with 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. And your special teams, just blocked a punt and a field goal in this game. Furman clicking at the absolute perfect time, as you said, Bob, headed into the postseason.
And, quite frankly, they've won 1 championship already. Clay Hendricks says, we want to win the state championship every year. That means beating the Citadel and beating Wofford. And they're about to put away Wofford. They've already beaten the Citadel, and they hope to be co-champs of the Southern Conference. And then they can start thinking natty.
Yeah, I mean, they've got their eyes on this Mercer versus Samford game going on right now. And if Mercer is able to defeat Samford, then Furman and Samford have to share that title as co-champs for the Southern Conference. But regardless, the Southern Conference has churned out some incredible teams this year. Been a lot of parity, but Furman and Samford kind of just pulling ahead of the pack as the 2 head honchos of a stacked conference.
I think Mercer and Chat get in.
Yeah, I think there's a chance they get in, too.
Especially if Mercer wins today.
Yeah, if Mercer wins today, I think they've got a great case for it, and that Chattanooga team is really good.
Be good for the SoCon to get 4 in. I think 3 is almost guaranteed. Wofford used to reside in the playoffs a lot in the previous years, but not in 2022 as Wyrick gets sacked. And it's done by Jack Barton. And, Barton may have been one of the guys that got a hand on the block earlier. There was a whole big group in there. But Barton's been present today, that's for sure.
Yep, great job of staying composed right there from Barton. As you mentioned, he was in there on the blocked field goal, rather, at the end of the first half. Gets a big sack there, and the Paladins continue to lay down the hammer on the Terriers.
Most of the starters still in there for Furman with 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go. In the third quarter, you do have to start thinking ahead to next week. Walker runs it and gets popped 4 or 5 times. Pays the price for no gain.
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall in this one. That's a little bit of a surrender play call. 2nd and 12, and you're coming out and you're running a delayed draw after a sack. It's now 3rd and 15 for the Wofford Terriers, and this is the definition of back against your wall. You find yourself down 35 points with 3 minutes remaining in the third. You're going to have to pull something out of your hat right here to convert the first down.
And before this game gets too out of control and moves on, major kudos and credits to Wofford's Sean Watson, the interim coach, who may become their full-time coach. He has rallied this team when everybody thought they were dead in the water. He's gained the respect of this team, of these young men, and this team isn't going to quit. Wyrick's going to try and make a play here on 3rd down. He's got a man, and it's just too tall. Those are the throws he was making in the first half. Now, here's the mistake for the Paladins. The flag comes in late, and I believe Wyrick got hit after the throw. We're probably going to have a roughing the quarterback that's going to keep this drive alive.
And I'll tell you, I know this is a lopsided one. You can't have those type of penalties in postseason play. That's something Coach Hendricks is going to be working on, axing off. You don't want any personal fouls in postseason play because in a close game, those could be an absolute detriment to the Paladins.
Let's see if it was. Well, it's close. I mean, you're going up to make a defensive play. You got your hands in the air. You're trying to knock it down. And Gilby, the reigning defensive player of the week, maybe got a hand to the face mask, and that could have been the problem. So Wofford retains possession and gets it out to the 35-yard line. Safe pass. It gets nothing.
Wow. The Paladins are swarming on those flanker screens right now. That one's a little bit more of a bubble action out on the far side of the field, and the Paladins have 3 players there to wrap them up.
To get back to Coach Watson for a moment, to think about how this offense came alive. He's an offensive guy when he got full control of the offense and was the head coach. I mean, the offense has played well today. 21 points against Furman. That's playing some pretty good football. There are a lot of teams in the SoCon that would like to put up 21 points in 3 quarters against the Paladins. So if Watson is indeed sort of auditioning for the head coaching job, I think he's put together a pretty solid resume over the last month and a half here for the Wofford Terriers. Under pressure, Wyrick escapes. He's got nowhere to go with it, so he chucks it down the sideline. DeJote makes the catch, and that foot was in bounds. It was right in front of us, and it was an absolutely beautiful catch. It looked like Wyrick was throwing it away. That DeJote had no chance. He makes the grab and gets 1 foot in. It was a beauty.
What a play right there from DeJote, and what a ball from quarterback Jimmy Wyrick, able to drop that back shoulder. Travis Blackshear is appealing for a push-off, as you can see a little bit after the play at the referee. I think that's a clean play from DeJote, and a little bit of momentum here for Wofford. At minimum, that one's going on DeJote's highlight career tape.
You been working on your French?
Yeah, a little bit.
He's from Quebec, Dylan DeJote. He's from Quebec, but he went down to Florida to an academy to play his high school ball, and he's a good recruit. He's a freshman, playing well. Major upside. Pressure on the quarterback as he throws that one away. Penetration from Clark. Luke Clark got in there and got a hand on the QB as he tried to make the throw.
And it's those explosive plays headed back to Coach Watson that this offense really lacked early in the season. Bob, this offense scored 7 total points in their first 3 games of the season, and you look at some of these results over the past 5 weeks in the Watson era here at Wofford: 48 points against ETSU, 31 points against the Citadel, 29 points against Western Carolina, 34 points against VMI. This offense is clicking right now, and you got to think, if he becomes the permanent head coach, there's more where that came from on the offensive side of the ball headed into next season for the Terriers.
Yeah, and again, Watson, offensive coordinator, Colorado, Nebraska, Pittsburgh, big-time programs, big-time conferences. Wyrick flushed and is able to make something out of nothing, picks up 4 yards, avoids the sack.
And I'll tell you, I think if he throws that, that's a touchdown. I think he had Pinnock on the far side on this wheel route. It's a fake screen wheel concept. There is a seam coming over, pulling that safety out. The goal is to hit the wheel route in the corner of the end zone, and I think if he throws it, it's a touchdown. I get that it's a crowded pocket, but I think, especially down 35 points, you kind of got to let that one fly.
Certainly 4-down territory, but it's a 3rd down and 7. Clock continues to tick. Despite what you see, clock is ticking. We're down to 30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Blitz is on. Under pressure, throws over the middle, in and out of the hands. Blackshear had the coverage. Parker was the target. And those are the balls, and those are the catches that Wofford made in the 1st quarter. They haven't made the rest of the game.
Yeah, and this Furman defensive unit has stepped up, specifically the defensive backs. They haven't lost a one-on-one battle in what seems like ages, and now the field goal unit will come out for Coach Watson's squad to try and put a little bit of a dent in this massive Furman lead.
So on 4th down and 8 from the 24-yard line, trailing by 5 touchdowns, they are going to kick a field goal. Last time they tried this, it got blocked. 7 blocked field goals for Furman this year. Will it be 8? It will be 8. Coleman got it again. Blackshear scoops it up again, and he is gone. Special teams touchdown, Paladins.
And the Furman Paladins continue their stellar success of blocking field goals. This one results in 6 on the other end. Great heads-up play by Blackshear, who takes it to the end zone.
Listen, earlier this week, Matt Shachovka, number 7, who's the big guy up front, said, listen, we block kicks, but the man that makes it possible is Zero because he moves the pack and allows us to make the play. Well, this time, not only does Coleman move the pack, he gets the big paw up, blocks it, and just like the first half, it's Blackshear that scoops it up, and he scores. And what a beauty.
The Furman Paladins are looking to put up their 63rd point of the day. We still got a whole quarter to play, Bob. They're pushing 100.
15 seconds left in the 3rd quarter on a record-breaking day for the Paladins. The left foot of Axel Lepro is getting a little sore from kicking extra points, but he drills it through. That one goes all the way down to the scoreboard. They're scoring every way possible. The Furman Paladins, 63 points in 3 quarters. Paladins rolling into the postseason.
Are you kidding me? Is that for me?
How?
Oh, can't wait to see what you got your mother.
The BMW Road Home Sales Event, on now. Through November 30th, your purchase of a new BMW will help provide 200 meals to local families in need.
This is Mountain Dew. A rush of crisp and refreshing flavor. Delivering a bold citrus kick. Do the Dew.
You fired up the grill for one hot dog? Seriously?
Hot dogs, better with Pepsi.
It's boat time. This is Larry. And this is the big, bold, hand-breaded Bo's chicken sandwich. Larry knew he couldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, he is a chicken after all. But Larry craved this flavor-packed hunk of sandwich. And before he knew it, his little chicken heart belonged to Bojangles forever. Thanks to a sandwich so juicy, so tender, even a chicken wants to eat it.
Larry, people are trying to eat.
Paladin Stadium is rocking as they sing Sweet Caroline. They put 63 points on the board. And they've done it with deep passes. They've done it with a quarterback run. They've done it with pounding the ball in between the tackles. They've done it on special teams. This has been by far the most impressive performance the Paladins have put together for the season, and it's a season in which has them ranked 13th in the nation. Peaking at the right time, you betcha. The guys in purple getting it done.
Yeah, and if the committee is watching the broadcast right now, there is no way you can't be impressed with every single facet of this Furman Paladin team clicking at the absolute perfect time. And I'll tell you, Bob, if they're playing like this, they can beat anyone in the country.
I truly believe that, and I think you do too.
Yeah.
I think the special teams is the X factor when you get into the postseason.
It is, and you know, when you have two reliable kickers like the Paladins have, your punter's been good, even though you haven't needed him much today, and you're able to block those kicks. I mean, it's just the fact that Furman generates turnovers at the rate they do is going to keep them in the game against anyone. Even if you're the underdog going into the game, if you have that upside of generating multiple turnovers, you can stick in the game with anyone in the country, and I truly believe that.
15 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Wyrick will stay in the game for Wofford. They moved the ball well on their previous possession, got it all the way down inside the 30-yard line before deciding on 4th and 8 to kick that field goal that got returned. So they did make some plays. There's been no give up, and certainly Wyrick has been pretty good getting out of the pocket the last couple of series as well, making a play with his feet to give himself room to throw. Wyrick's out pattern is complete. Pickup of 8 yards on the play. First time we've called the name R.J. Ko. R.J., one of their better receivers. First time he's touched the ball today, though. For his career, that's his 34th career catch. 14 for the season. And that brings to an end the third quarter. 4 fingers in the air at Paladin Stadium as Furman will celebrate a lot in the next 15 minutes. They lead it. Yeah, that's not a misprint. That is correct. Furman 63, Wofford 21.
Mom, I got you something.
If I could be, baby, where you are. If I could be, baby, where
Distance means so little when a gift says so much. Etsy has it.
It's a beautiful time for basketball. Lakers, Bucks, and a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday on ESPN.
Feels like a change is coming. Are you ready for football to get down to the nitty-gritty? Or whatever this is? Are you standing up, breaking down, and staying hyped for football? Good. Then you're ready.
Lakers, Bucks, and a special all-cast with Stephen A., part of a doubleheader, Friday.
A great story has magic, power, and every once in a while, it has miracles. As luck would have it, that's our story.
We'll do the scoreboard watching for you because Furman is taking care of their business up 63-21. All eyes on the Samford-Mercer game. If Mercer can knock off Samford, and right now they're tied at 17 late in the second quarter, if Mercer wins that football game, Samford and Furman, co-champs of the Southern Conference, Samford does get the automatic bid. They'll probably get a bye. The Furman Paladins are in. They're in the postseason. Yep. They absolutely should be hosting. They should get a pretty good draw. And if you do draw Furman, good luck because they're clicking.
Yeah, this is a really good football team. And if, you're having to march into Paladin Stadium where the Paladins are putting on a show today, like you said, Bob, good luck.
Well, that's a good throw. Wyrick certainly isn't giving up. R.J. Ko with a big chunk play gets it down to the 34-yard line. And there are a lot of second-teamers in there for the Furman Paladins right now.
Yeah, you mentioned second-teamers. I wonder if we see the true freshman Carson Jones in at quarterback for the next Paladin offensive drive.
Well, Ryrick working on Yates, and Yates plays a lot for Furman. Made a big hit earlier in the game on the blitz. But Yates is unable to stop Cal Watkins on that play, as Watkins from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, plays at Carolina Forest, one of those new high schools down there on the grandstand. And Wofford's moving inside the 20. Good start to the fourth quarter for the Wofford Terriers. Another good first down pickup is Ko has caught 3 passes in the last 4 plays and he didn't catch anything in the previous 3 quarters.
Yeah, having a big drive here. And like you said, Jimmy Wyrick's not just going to give up. This team is not built to roll over and die. They are going to air the ball out until that clock hits 0. So Sean Watson's squad showing some pride here, trying to punch in another touchdown to get to 28 points.
Look, Sean Watson is a great offensive mind, and if he gets the job at Furman, I think they're in good hands. Just don't kick any more field goals against Furman.
Yeah.
You need touchdowns anyhow, and just don't kick any more field goals. The lone running back is a freshman, Cal Parsons. Parsons gets the call and has a hole. Gets it inside the 10-yard line, brought down by Yates.
Tackled by Ivan Yates. Also Trey Rogers in on the stop.
3rd down and 1. Wofford taking their time. You figured this is 4-down territory. So maybe they take a crack at the end zone here, trying to catch Furman crowd in the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, if you see 6 or 7 in the box, I think it's worth maybe potentially throwing up. You got one-on-one coverage on the outside if you want to throw it at the top of your screen here.
They throw over the middle, and it's intercepted again by the Paladins. Wow. Unbelievable. This team just has a knack for it, and Caleb Williams gets the pick.
The freshman from Tampa making a big play for Furman. And Bob, this team is built to force turnovers. Back against the wall in the red zone. A little bit of a force and a great read to jump in front of that slant and pick the ball off.
Freshman second-teamer, we'll come in and pick it off just like the first-teamers do, no problem.
And they're learning from the best.
They are. I'm telling you, it's Turnover Tuesday. Coach Vaughn runs that Turnover Tuesday every Tuesday at practice where they desperately try to get the TOs, and boy, does it work.
And it looks like Carson Jones, the true freshman, 6'2", 205, checking in at quarterback now for the Furman Paladins. Tyler Huff's day is done, and he's earned a rest.
See you next week. Jones will keep it on first down, and he'll take it down to the 24-yard line. Got some action last week, too, as well, or a week before that.
Yeah, and for Furman, it's good to get your second stringers some experience headed into postseason play. Got to have that next man up mentality. This is a contact sport, and obviously you hope everyone stays healthy, but that's not really how football works. So you got to have the next man up mentality. Your second stringers have to have enough valuable game experience to be able to go in there, take over, and do a comfortable job. So big reps here for Furman, even though the scoreline may not indicate such.
Yeah, big reps for Carson Jones just to get comfortable.
Right.
You never know.
Right.
You never know. There may be scenarios. Sometimes your quarterback gets stung. You need to go in there for a couple plays just to be able to handle snaps,
be comfortable,
handle the offense, not have there be panic on the roster. Jace Wilson is not available to the Paladins, and so if they get into a desperate situation in the postseason, this freshman quarterback will get the call. That's Grant Robinson, another freshman getting the carry. So it's Thomas and Robinson in the game in the backfield, a redshirt freshman and a redshirt sophomore. On third down, they'll try the end around, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, that one got blown up very swiftly. It looked like Marcus Dees making the big play for the Terrier defense, and the Paladins are going to be forced. If I'm not mistaken, Bob, is this going to be the first punt of the day for Furman?
It will be the first punt of the day. They've scored touchdowns on every drive except for one interception, and now this punt.
And that interception was actually Tyler Huff's only incompletion of the entire game.
And it came at the end of the half when you were forcing
trying
things
to move
a little
the ball
bit.
Down the field, yeah. He went 21 for 22 for 295 and 2 touchdowns. Also added 2 touchdowns on the ground. Heck of a day for Huff.
Get to say Levy's name. He punts it away. Good Paladin bounce. Everything's bouncing the Paladins' way today, and it goes out of bounds at around the 32-yard line. So the Wofford defense holds, and now they get the ball back with 10:29 to go here in the fourth quarter. Wofford try to make something good happen before they go home. The Paladins continue to roll up big in Greenville.
This holiday season, Ford wants to help you shine bright. So, this Black Friday, choose a vehicle in stock or simply place a custom order. Lock in your rate and you're protected, even if rates go up before your order comes in. Plus, thousands of vehicles are arriving daily, just in time for the holidays. This Black Friday, lock in this low rate on a new 2022 Ford F-150. Hurry, choose from over 7,000 Ford trucks and SUVs, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Jewelry has always been the most powerful gift of love, whether it's an engagement or an anniversary. Here at Hales, we're in the business of celebrating your life's most special moments, from the past, the present, and the future. Being Greenville's oldest business means we understand that we're only as good as how you feel when you leave the store. We welcome you to visit our flagship jewelry store.
Happily ever Hales.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
It's bow time. This is Larry. And this is the big, bold, hand-breaded Bo's chicken sandwich. Larry knew he couldn't. He shouldn't. I mean, he is a chicken after all. But Larry craved this flavor-packed hunk of sandwich. And before he knew it, his little chicken heart belonged to Bojangles forever. Thanks to a sandwich so juicy, so tender, Even a chicken wants to eat it.
Larry, people are trying to eat.
The oldest rivalry in the South, Wofford and Furman. They've been playing since 1889. That game in 1889 was won by Wofford 5-1. Don't ask me how they did one. They did it different back then. The most points ever scored by one team, Furman in 1920, scored 69. So there's something to play for the Paladins here. A touchdown, and they tie the all-time record for most points scored against Wofford during this rivalry game, and they break a record that was set in 1920 as far as combined points go. Most ever in this storied rivalry.
Yeah, and a little bit of pressure on Carson Jones. He's got a chance to be the record breaker in his first real extended action. Under the impression that this fourth quarter will be entirely his. So let's see if he can step up to the plate and break a record.
By the way, between 1920 and 1937, Wofford did not score 1 point.
Really?
Shut out every game.
Wow.
You remember that game?
Yeah, I was front row.
That was a great depression. It was very depressing to be a Wofford Terrier at that time, I think. Off the left side, they give it to their fifth-year senior. And Nathan Walker picks up a few. I tell you what, Wofford and Furman, I think both their programs, and Wofford obviously will bounce back. Furman has bounced back. The COVID years really threw these programs off.
Yeah.
I mean, Wofford was rolling along. They did not play in the spring season, and that really seemed to set the program back a little bit.
Yeah, and COVID threw a wrench in so many things as far as athletic goes. Obviously, the term COVID year has been coined for the additional year of eligibility for a lot of these athletes, but the programs as a whole, you had to go back to the chalkboard and draw some new things up because all of a sudden things were changing in the sport at a rapid pace.
And you lose momentum, too.
Yeah.
It's just a big... Coaches are they creatures of habit.
Right.
And your recruiting schedule's off. And all of a sudden, you're right. Somebody comes back, somebody doesn't come back. You just saw, Walker in his fifth year. He's running the ball strong up the middle. Great having him back in the lineup. And it just seemed like Wofford was that perennial SoCon title contender in the year 2000 and beyond. And then that COVID year hit, and it's been a struggle. They lost 12 in a row at one point. They're going to finish up the year strong, minus this game. And then they're either going to have Watson as the full-time coach or move into a different direction. So it's a new era of Wofford football is about to begin in about 30 minutes.
And I'll tell you, Bob, I don't have any say in the decision, but I think Sean Watson has had a heck of a campaign to be the full-time coach of this football program. I mean, he's going to go 3-3 through 6 games. Keep in mind, you didn't have a win coming into the Watson-controlled era, and most importantly, you're putting points on the board at a rate you haven't since pre-COVID years, honestly. This Wofford offense has a new look to it. If Watson can recruit around his scheme, his system, I think they've got something brewing here in Spartanburg.
And you touched on something key as Walker gets it right out to the middle of the field at the 50-yard line, is recruiting.
Right.
Okay, Wofford used to be the 3 yards cloud of dust option. We're the special, unique, short-haired, feisty dogs under Coach Ayers. Did it extremely well, built a program that won them championships, made them competitive nationally. Times have changed. The offense has changed. You got to get the right personnel in there. They got to go out there and they got to find the next Jimmy Wyrick to run this. They got to find some more wideouts to complement the players that they have. It's a new era for Wofford, which means a new style of play and a new style of player to recruit.
Yeah, and this pro spread style really, I don't want to say Watson's doing it with people that don't particularly fit his scheme, but it's the truth. It's the reality of the situation. If he's able to recruit around his scheme, recruit to the skill sets of his scheme, then this offense may have even more untapped potential than we're even seeing right now.
Landon Parker, in his 5th year playing his final football game, picks up a first down. He's still hobbling a little bit from an injury he suffered after making a terrific play in the first half on a 37-yard catch. And been a really good season for Parker. Parker and Wyrick saved their senior year by having a great second half of the season together, winning ball games and making plays.
Right, and that connection has become ever so special. The leading receiver on this Terrier team really has shined down the stretch here for Sean Watson's Terrier squad.
A lot of time going for it all.
Wow.
Desjate makes the play down at the 4-yard line. So once again, it was that 4-on-4 battle. They've been going at it all game long. Dominic Morris has played well at cornerback, had decent coverage here, but Desjate makes the grab and 4-on-4, and it's down at the 4-yard line.
And every time I watch Dylan Desjate go up and make a play, this kid's only a freshman? This is an 18-year-old freshman making these plays? He's playing like a poised vet. This was probably going to be the leading receiver on this Terrier squad next year. He's showcasing his talents, and you're seeing what he can do. A whole offseason of work ahead of him. Coming into next year, you could be looking at a breakout candidate in the SoCon.
All freshman candidate for sure from Quebec. Good surge by the Paladins, trying to knock back the attempt for the touchdown, and Parker gets it right to the goal line, and he's got it.
That's just a hard-fought touchdown from Parsons there. I thought he may have stepped out before he got to the pylon. Ref's got a better angle than I do. We're going to trust him there. 6 points on the board for the Terriers, and something to take away from this game. Yeah, you're not going to get the win, but some good momentum going into the end of the season.
Another freshman, Cal Parsons, so it's Deja. He looked like he was out of bounds for the ball across the line of scrimmage, but Parsons does get in for the touchdown, so it's 2 freshmen in the fourth quarter here, the final game of the season, giving you a sneak preview of what the 2023 Furman Terrier offense is going to look like.
Yeah, you're probably looking at the RB1 for the future in Parsons for this Terrier squad headed forward. So he's had a strong season as a freshman, going to look on to build on it throughout the tenure of his career at Wofford.
Hey, more than 500 yards your freshman year.
Right.
That's impressive stuff. So Wofford's got their 4th touchdown of the game. At one point, they led this game 7-0. It's now 63-28. Furman with the lead. The clock is down to 5:44. We'll wrap things up from Paladin Stadium when we come back.
It's time to vote for the Taco Bell Live My Student section.
Choose the winning section, and you get a free Taco Bell Crunchy Taco.
Download the app, sign up for Taco Bell Rewards, and vote now.
Let's go!
Change is coming.
Oilers.
McDavid will take it to the net.
Wild.
Hands in the back. Kaprizov score.
A battle of superstars.
That is hockey.
Thursday on ESPN+.
A great story has magic, power, and every once in a while, it has miracles. As luck would have it, that's our story.
True story. If you want to stand out, you have to cross enemy lines. Ohio State, Duke, North Carolina, Indiana. Experience the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Begins Wednesday at 7:15 on ESPN.
It's a beautiful time for basketball.
I go through the pain like Giannis.
Where freaks challenge kings.
You know I'm dunking on these calls like LeBron. We in the rack with the Rose
and dynasties old and new collide.
Steph Curry, I'm a warrior, shots
Lakers, Bucks, and a special all-cast with Stephen A. Part of a doubleheader. Friday on ESPN.
NBA on ESPN time.
A little cardboard and a little push from Dad, and you got fun during a 63-28 football game. Come on, give him a good shove. Give him, oh, we don't have time to see him get to the bottom of the hill. A festive atmosphere today. I tell you what, this was a noon start. First noon start of the season. Sun was out. Felt like football weather. Very good crowd on hand. The fans anticipating the importance of this football game, and boy, did the Paladins deliver for the home folks today.
Oh, they definitely delivered, and you saw the kids in the crowd. They look as happy as ever, and why wouldn't they be? 63 points on the board, and still, you guys see the scoreboard, and if you're just tuning in, a record-breaking opportunity here for backup QB Carson Jones and the Paladins. They could potentially get to the 70 mark, which would be a record for this rivalry. So big drive ensuing here for Furman, and valuable experience to gain from the number 2s for the Paladin squad.
Right, and they want to open it up, I'm sure. They'll run the football.
Right.
But you can move people around, and you got 5 minutes. You want to control the clock and take care of business. And then get into the locker room, celebrate, enjoy, and then put one eye up on that scoreboard to see if Mercer and Sanford can turn out in your favor. Paladins need a Mercer win to claim a co-championship. It would be the second of Clay Hendrick's career in his 6th season. Needing that postseason success. And like I said, COVID sort of seemed to throw the Paladins off a little bit, but I think Clay Hendrick right now in his 6th season is right where he needs to be. In the postseason with a home game, we assume, coming up, and a chance to make a pretty good postseason run. Jones hands it off to Robinson. Grant Robertson's a freshman from Plano, Texas. And you talk about having a a footprint across the Southeast. Paladins recruit pretty well in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, you got another freshman here in Robinson getting valuable experience. He redshirted last year, coming in and getting some reps. And with Dominic Roberto, he's had an illustrious career here at Furman. He's still only a redshirt junior, so Robinson may have to wait one more year before he really gets to burst on the scene, but getting a little bit of a taste of action right here against Wofford, getting to sink in this rivalry.
Not going anywhere on this play. Met in the backfield, thrown for a loss. Michael Mason is in there. He's a senior from South Florence High School down in Florence, South Carolina. Came up to Spartanburg, playing in his final game. He didn't want to come off the field. You would assume that they'd make some changes, right? But there's 99, one of their better players, one of their leaders, out there in a 63-28 football game with 4 minutes to go, making a tackle for loss.
It's the definition of giving your heart to the game. He's out there just grinding, and 6'3", 270, every inch, every pound of that on that play right there, tackling Robinson in the backfield. Maybe the last TFL of his career right there.
One of the best South Florence Bruins ever. Back to the line of scrimmage on 3rd down and long. Robinson gets denied there, and for the second time, the Paladins are going to have to punt it away. See nothing going on the right side, and good penetration all along until eventually Javis Myatt makes the play. R.J. Kao is back to return the kick. Kao has 3 catches in the ball game. He's been active in the second half. They've been getting the ball to 6. Moves down to the 31-yard line. We will take one more break, and then when we come back to Paladin Stadium, we'll play it out as the Paladins will try and finish off a victory over their rivals. Yep, it's 63-20.
This is a personalized ad. It helps you find good ideas. This is Jada, who found one. And here's Greg, badly in need of a good idea. You see, you can discover a small business at any moment. Oh look, it's that moment when a good idea helps make a moment a better moment. You get the idea. Good ideas deserve to be found. Personalized ads help you find them.
Man, I make this cheesiest chain look good.
I'm still feeling the cheesiest.
You are a wheel of cheese. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
The Taco Bell Live My Student section is back. More free tickets, more free tacos. Now you get to decide which school wins. Vote for the Live My Student section on the Taco Bell app. Choose right and you get a free crunchy taco. Let's go!
Follow your passion, wherever it may lead.
To the middle of nowhere, apparently.
Who are you?
I'm from Edmonds.
Nobody knows the car marketplace better. For instance, this model's hard to find. Could be because we're in the middle of the desert.
We'd recommend a certified pre-owned model instead.
You get similar features and a factory-back warranty.
Can we still look beautiful?
You do you.
For unbiased research, reviews, and industry expertise, go to Edmunds First. We drive it like it is.
What are you looking at?
Tyson Fury. Garrett Chisora. Look at this. Coming at you like lions. That big right half again. Barrett's only one.
Hope if I get a chance, I'd love to work with you again. Paladin Stadium is a happy place. We kicked off about 3 hours ago. It was a little warmer back then. Started to get a little chilly as the clouds have come in. But, man, the sun really is shining on the Paladins today. 63-28. And, again, I remind you that Wofford led 7-0 after scoring 2 minutes really, into this football game. And it was tied at 14 at one point.
Yeah, tied at 14, and then it felt like it's been all Paladins since then. Wofford going to continue to air the ball out, as you see here, taking a shot down the field.
Another one of those 50-50 balls. And let me tell you something. There's no longer 50-50 when you're throwing the ball near Landon Parker, because he's caught them all tonight.
And he's doing this on a gimpy ankle. As you can see, he's still getting up slowly. He's got that left ankle severely taped and wrapped. And wow, I mean, what a throw and what a catch right there, as Wofford is truly leaving it all in the field. Jimmy Weirick took a shot on that one.
But if you missed any part of this game, that's exactly what the first quarter looked like. It was Weirick taking shots down the middle, and they were successful. That's why we were tied at 14. Blitz comes now. Paladins have seen enough of this. And that ball goes a little high and off the fingertips. I don't think that the defensive coaches of Furman wanted to dial up some blitzes here late in the game, but if you're going to start chucking it deep, they're going to come after you. You got to appreciate, too, what Coach Watson's doing here and the message he's sending to the guys who are still on the roster going, we don't, like you said, we're not surrender. We know we can't win this football game. But you know what? Weirick, Parker, Walker, they earned this. They earned a chance to be on the field to finish off the season. And they're seniors, and they want to go out with something a little positive. Weirick will not go down. He shovels it ahead. Is rolled an incomplete pass. They say he was not down. They're waving their hands. Incomplete pass. So smart play by Weirick to shovel it forward and prevent the 4-yard loss on the sack. And but he's banged up. He's wobbling again.
Yeah, and wrapping back to your point, Bob, I think it would be kind of poetic if, this rally at the end of the season were to go out with a Landon Parker touchdown. And you've seen him get a massive target share on the last 2 drives. Gite also added an incredible catch in there as well. But, I'm kind of rooting for it to an extent for Jimmy Weirick to throw a touchdown to Landon Parker right here. 2 illustrious careers here at Wofford, and it would be the perfect way to wrap a career up, even if it's in a negative result and a loss.
Well, Weirick has at least set the bar for the new look Furman Terriers, because Weirick had that 409-yard performance against East Tennessee State University.
Yep.
That's an all-time Wofford record. So, all right, gang, I know we're going to throw the ball more in the future, but come get my one-game record here. We will take one more timeout, and I promise we'll come back and wrap it up.
The cheesiest chain for the cheesiest cheese.
Give me that. You don't need it.
To be the cheesiest, gotta snatch that chain.
Wait, how'd you... We need another chain. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
It's time to vote for the Taco Bell Live My Student section.
Choose the winning section, and you get a free Taco Bell Crunchy Taco.
Download the app, sign up for Taco Bell Rewards, and vote now.
Let's go!
Are you ready for football to get down to the nitty-gritty? Or whatever this is? Are you making plans for football? Flying for football? Flexing for football? And brushing up on your Spanish for football?
Tu defensa es basura. Eso.
Are you standing up, breaking down, and staying hyped for football? Good. Then you're ready.
Only a handful of teams remained, all vying for a spot in the playoff, for the right to call themselves the national champions.
Tyson Fury. Garrett, Chisora. Look at that. Coming at you like lions. That big right half again. There is only one.
Oilers.
McDavid, he'll take it to the net.
Wild.
Handed it back. Kaprizov score.
A battle of superstars.
That is hockey.
Thursday on ESPN+.
True story. If you want to stand out, you have to cross enemy lines. Ohio State, Duke, North Carolina, Indiana. Experience the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Begins Wednesday at 7:15 on ESPN.
The previous play was under review to determine whether or not the quarterback was down by contact before he shoveled the ball forward. I believe they're still going to mark it at the 32-yard line, so they're going to rule that he was laying on top of a Furman Paladin and release the ball. Or the complete opposite of what I said.
And Bob, Weirick has 428 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air today.
And he hasn't given up.
It's definitely something to take away from this game. And you talk about another fifth-year senior in Landon Parker, 6 receptions for $139 and a tutty.
Well, they're going to keep chucking it, apparently. It's 3rd down. We assume this is 4-down territory. Maybe they'll kick again. Maybe they'll set up for another field goal and we can get 3 blocks. 4-man rush. Going deep down the left sideline. 50-50 ball. And this time it is not caught by Parker, who's almost got them all. He certainly got 2 hands on it. And that was almost what you were wishing for there, Faxon Childress.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, these 2 guys have really earned the right to go out there and you know, play a simple game of pass and catcher at the end of the game. That one Parker may have been able to come down with and could very well be the last play of Wofford's season on the offensive side of the ball right here and the last play of a couple players' careers.
And we mentioned Texas earlier. Dominic Morris on the coverage there, the sophomore who's been pretty prominent today, number 4, also from Texas. All right, 4th down. Plenty of time. Complete, and then knocked away at the last minute. There's a fine defensive play by Caleb Williams, who's having himself a ball game.
Hey, Caleb Williams may be playing himself into some playing time or the rotation. This kid's been really impressive. He's got a nose for the ball. He adds to his interception here with a crucial PBU, able to rob Wofford of what could have potentially been a touchdown to close this game out. And the Paladin offense will now take the field, and you would assume this is going to be 3 runs up the middle and the game's going to be over.
Well, historic afternoon for the Furman Paladins, the most points combined in this series ever at 63-28. Furman ranked 12th. A couple people lose, they can move up. They certainly look like a top 10 team. They are a true national title contender. They absolutely should be hosting a game here at Paladin Stadium next week. And then you just go from there. Maybe they're in the same bracket with Sanford and the Paladins get a win. Maybe they get Sanford in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a little bit of a revenge game. Bob, we were on the call for that Furman-Sanford game. It was an electric one. There were some controversial calls. It had everything you could have possibly wanted in a football game. There was turnovers.
Except Dylan Huff. It didn't have Dylan Huff in that game.
Yeah, Huff did.
Or Tyler Huff, I mean.
Tyler Huff did not play in that game. That was Jace Wilson at quarterback for the Furman Paladins. But now Tyler Huff may get the chance to get his crack at Sanford in the postseason. It would be kind of poetic to an extent.
And the committee does a great job of trying to keep it regional, trying to keep it to a bus ride, trying to, have some rivalry, cut down on costs, certainly, but also create a little bit of buzz in your region, whether you're up east or way out west or down here in the southeast. So, maybe you get Davidson and you get Furman and you get Sanford all clocked up together in the same sort of bracket and region and get yourself some outstanding late November, hopefully early December football.
Regardless, what a showcase this season has been for the Southern Conference. I mean, one of the best conferences in the entire country at their level, and they've earned it every step of the way. There are 4 really, really good football teams in this conference between Furman, Sanford, Chattanooga, and Mercer.
Mercer and Sanford doing battle right now. Sanford was up by 3 in the beginning of the 3rd quarter. Sanford hangs on to have an undefeated SoCon season, get the automatic bid no matter what, and be SoCon champs. If Sanford does not win their game at Mercer, they'll be co-champs with these Furman Paladins. And by the way, hey, special thanks to our crew today. They did a great job. A lot of difficult plays to follow. A lot of chucking the rock all over the place. Our camera crew, our directors, our producers, everybody doing a great job. So thank you very much to our Greenville crew here for doing a terrific job today on what has been a very exciting and fun football game. That could be the final play of the game. Robinson goes down. And the Furman Paladins, when they needed the big game most, the final home game of the season, needing a win to give themselves a chance at a championship, they dominate. After being tied 14-14, they roll, and the Furman Paladins beat Wofford 63-28. Faxon Childress, your final thoughts on what has been a historic day for the Paladins?
The Paladins are legit. That's my final line. The Paladins are legit, and this team has a real chance to win the national championship if they play like they did here today in Paladin Stadium. A home playoff game would be invaluable for this team. They absolutely need that home field advantage in round 1, and after that, it's house money. Anything can happen in the playoffs.
Sunday at 12:30, they will find out their fate. Coach Clay Hendrick didn't really have to lobby too hard all through the week, but he stated, yes, we absolutely deserve a home game. He wants a home game. He said, quote, it's a big advantage. I want it for my school.
Yeah, I mean...
And that gives you goosebumps sometimes when you think about what Coach accomplished as a player winning championships, what he's about to accomplish as a coach. So the Furman Paladins are heading to the postseason. We'll get more details tomorrow. Terrific game today. Very exciting. 63-28. They scored all kinds of ways. They had wide receivers throwing touchdowns, block kicks. It was exciting. So for Facts and Childress, I'm Bob Mahalik saying so long for Furman, where the final score is Furman 63, Wofford 28. A reminder, all games airing on ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.
Mercedes-Benz is turning electric completely on its head, bringing legendary design and state-of-the-art technology to a fully electric SUV. The all-new, all-electric EQB from Mercedes-Benz.
See yourself in the Lululemon Studio Mirror with more than 10,000 workouts, led by world-class instructors, featuring guest fitness studios like Pure Barre, Rumble, and more. Your perfect workout is waiting in the ultimate home gym. So join in now and see yourself move in the Lululemon Studio Mirror.
Are you ready for football to get down to the nitty-gritty? Or whatever this is? Are you making plans for football? Flying for football? Flexing for football? And brushing up on your Spanish for football?
Tu defensa es basura. Eso.
Are you standing up, breaking down, and staying hyped for football? Good. Then you're ready.
Only a handful of teams remained, all vying for a spot in the playoff, for the right to call themselves the national champions.